Welcome to Flat Earth Debate, Uncut and After Show. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they premiere, and there's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Also below this video you can get £50 for swapping your UK electricity supplier to Octopus Energy. Speaking of Patreons, I'm going to do a quick shout out to all of you who do support me on Patreon, so a massive shout out of thanks and appreciation to Philip Simon, Will Brax, Mel B. Styles, Troy Shuker, Bose Nail, Joseph Pizarro, Samson, Maris, Mobile Max 777, Neo the One, Lost Cat FE, Rob W, Open Minded, Reese Pound, Del West Watson, Mike, Muted, Dick Earth Skeptic, NA Literalist, Maria Neelands, Unbelievable Productions, Blue Ridge Ranger, Rob H, The Real Gabster, Windrider, Liam Nedrick Jr., Abraham Mohammed, Naibai, Adrian Quintana, Skeptic 936, Life is Short, Fireball X, TheFlatEarthChannel.com, Texas Mike, Edwin Johnson, Kirsten Smith, and David Wayne Foster. So another massive thank you to all of you for supporting me on Patreon. Now I'm going to hand over to whoever is in Google and Discord so you can enjoy their conversation while I set up for today's live show.
Nothing to see here kind of thing, right?
Yeah. And it's like evil. Like evil doesn't, it happens, by good people do evil things. You know what I mean? It's not like the person who does something really evil or horrible to someone else is at their core an evil being. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
It's regular people that do horrible things, and regular people that allow other people to do horrible things. And yeah.
All right, this was a good chat. Nathan and everybody missed it. They don't know what we're talking about, but that was a good chat we had.
No.
How long you been chatting?
Very briefly, but it was very good and concise and to the point.
No, we only just got here, sorry.
It's all right.
I was actually I'll just tell you guys quickly what I first told Righteous, which was just as I booted up my computer just now on Windows, they show you a picture, before you click to log in, and it has little boxes with information about whatever it is, the image that they're showing you. And the one that came up for me today was a picture from what turned out to be a place in France, a cape in France somewhere, and the little box of information said, "Here, high on a windswept cape."
The wrong tools. They just do a little extra on top of it. They sphericize the normal things, right? It's what they always do. It's like they do the normal things and then they add the baller machination on top of it. And then say that's how you're supposed to do it.
They didn't do it like that, though. Continue, Rams.
Everything out there.
What's your screen name, Arwin? No reply.
Wow, wasn't somebody talking?
Yeah.
I'm
right.
totally confused at what's happening.
Arwin's just in Discord, that's all.
Yeah, but this little box anyway, it said, "Here, high on a windswept cape, two countries come nearly as close together as they can get. On a clear day, you can see the Dover cliffs."
Yeah, didn't you know that? That's common knowledge here, though.
Yeah, well, I mean, it came up as, right on as a picture on my login screen for Windows. So,
Arwen, are you okay?
can you hear us, Owen?
Flashing, but
It's
nothing.
almost like he doesn't even know he's on the mic, like he's hot micing or something.
Yeah.
Well, I've never really seen the animal, a black swan.
He can't
Out
hear
here.
us at all.
Oh, we can't
Oh,
hear
I
it.
know what's going on. Hold on.
This
It's
is
somebody. It's some account using clips of Arwen.
types of water birds, but
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Okay. Right, whoever you are.
actually, I've never seen them here
Hey,
in this room.
whoever's playing those clips of Arwen, right?
Uh,
Either speak now or you'll be permanently server muted because we can't have that happen.
Really not. You don't really have them. It's always gooses.
Yeah, you're just gonna have to be server muted and kicked, mate. Last chance. Do you want to be part of the show or not? Looks for an hour in reply in his little synthesizer.
Yeah, Arwen's gonna come back on, so you're gonna have to ban him.
Australia? Okay,
Yeah,
could
kick him
be.
out. Just kick him out.
Bingo.
right.
Bye. Sorry, mate. You can't do that. You can't just play clips of Arwen. Funny for a few seconds, but then you've got to say, yeah, hi, wasn't it funny?
Right.
Mic check.
27 cents,
Hey, 10th.
10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85,
10th man is pulling the same gag I see.
89, 90, 91, 92.
Should I clean
Hold
you
on,
out?
we need to hear that Neil's got the correct change.
Sorry.
Oh, that was Neil.
What's going on?
Neil's getting the correct change and we were all hearing it.
Sorry.
He's complaining about Arwen and then he does it.
That wasn't Arwen.
No,
it was
I
the
was
one
gonna
playing
say
clips.
something about the guy that was doing that, but I got my stupid mask on. Can't you hear the muffle?
Are you robbing the place?
What are you doing? Yeah.
Stick him up, everybody. Stick him up. Which, by the way, everybody should look into this guy. That man, you might know him. He's Christian. He's saved. He used to be out of Brooklyn. Sonny Francesi's son, Michael Francesi. He's Christian now, and he gave his heart to the Lord. He's got an interesting story, but I knew all of those guys from Brooklyn. So everything he's saying, I can verify it, you know? And it's really cool. He does these interviews with people. He just did the interview with the kid that played young De Niro in Bronx Tale, Lilo, something. I forgot his last name. Guy who got caught up in murder and had to do like 8 years.
What's the subject matter? You've described the person, but not what he said.
He has these. It's called Sit Down with Michael Francesi.
Oh, okay.
And he just, he had Tyson on, which was interesting because Tyson was trying to give a Islam philosophy about there is no right or wrong because our brain can't even conceive what's right or what's wrong. And the third guy that was there, he said, well, I got a Christian background and I know when I did something wrong to somebody.
I was
And
going
you
to
know
say.
when you hurt somebody.
Says
So
you.
I
Says you,
do think
Tyson.
there's an accountability.
I was going to say, says you, Tyson. Like, no, legally, a 10-year-old knows the difference between right and wrong.
Yeah, but that's that confusing doctrine they give you. I've heard that before. Like, don't worry, your brain's not developed.
They want to bypass the conscious.
In the interest of balance. It's just in the interest of balance. Seek out the many arms of Ganesh. Very interesting stuff.
But when you buy someone,
I got the last part of that. That was funny.
when you bite someone's ear off, you gotta justify it somehow. You know?
I hear you, brother.
Oh yeah,
don't get me wrong. Tyson's in a good place right now. He listened. He didn't argue with the guy or nothing. He said, "Yeah, I guess you're right." Whatever. But it's very interesting.
Well, yeah. I'll preface what we're saying. We're poking fun at him unnecessarily because I would totally agree with that statement from what I've recently seen of Tyson. Yeah, I'd agree with that. Now, that said, it doesn't, in any way belittle the things that he got locked up for, and biting off of an ear wasn't one of them. So, I wouldn't say that was the worst thing he's done. It doesn't change that he's seemingly reformed and seemingly a much better person in a much better place. But ultimately speaking, the guy's done bad things. So when you hear somebody say, well, in my new religion, right and wrong, they're kind of vague, blurred lines. No, mate, sorry.
Yeah, that's why when that football player, it's a football player that was there. It's called hot boxing with Mike Tyson. When he came in and said that, they were actually, it was three of them. It was Tyson Fury, the new heavyweight champion, Mike Tyson, and this football player. I think he hosted. But it was really, really good. I was glad when he came in and said that.
Sounds good.
Yeah, he said that. Mike Tyson received it. He just said, and he had a lot of good things he said. Like, I mean, his upbringing was horrible. I mean, he felt like he was a nothing or nobody until Customano started speaking life into him and telling him people are treating you this way because they're jealous of you, Mike. And he made him believe that he was the baddest dude on, well, let's say what he said, the planet.
Hey, Nathan?
Yes?
I got 3 slides for you in Master B.
That means Neil, shut up.
No, that just means
I'm only kidding. I'm only kidding.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, the first one I've got is a sunset-looking image. Is that the first one you want up?
No, go to the radius one.
Okay, ready when you are.
All right. Yeah. All right. Do you want an argument that blows through refraction, looming, stooping, miraging? How many other effects are there? Just listed. Don't matter. It's this thing right here. The way they do it is they've got light coming in parallel, as you can see from right to left there, sun rays called. And this is an image replaying Eratosthenes' well and pillar, 500 miles apart from each, where he gets his angle. They are taking it on a flat plane on the surface of this Earth, but because they preassume a sphere, the only way it works to validate that sphere presupposition is to go to the center of the Earth, as seen here. They achieve a central angle. The only way to achieve a central angle by pre-assuming a sphere, you must have sun rays come in parallel, because the angle on the surface matches the angle at the radius. Does everyone see that?
Nobody sees that apart from the audience, but yes, I will speak on their behalf and say yes. Yes, we all see that.
All right. So since nobody is taking the actual reading from the center of anything, but from the surface, it's all a presupposition. Second part. Next slide. Do the sun rays look like they're coming in parallel?
No.
How about the next slide? Sun rays look like they're coming in parallel.
No.
Well, they have to be. They have to be for the presupposition to work.
Well, I think I got a baller response to that.
Before you give it, I've got one too. It's just comedic and the timing can't be helped. I can't credit the person who left this comment, but they said, so are you saying that a sextant can't work on a flat earth? And my reply to him was, substitute the word can't with only.
Excellent.
This might be a bad time to interject, but
hang on. John, what were you going to say?
Oh, I was going to say rays don't exist. The light is parallel.
Oh, okay. So what's the picture showing?
You're missing his point. So I had this out with Rumpus the other day. When they say rays, what they mean is an example using rays would be seeing your own arse in a telescope when you've got infinite over R refraction or whatever derivative they give over R to get that state. Well, that would be traced in a program around a sphere in potentially in Muppet Vision, although it doesn't have to be if it's in a computer program. But ultimately, that description doesn't exist. Now, ray tracing is useful. Obviously, people can trace in a program where they believe light to go. and it's useful for gaming. It's also useful for acousticians, weirdly enough. So they use the same principles to say, well, if you're sat here, where will the sound reach you? Using similar principles. But obviously sound isn't light rays either. But that's what they use. They use ray tracing. So, it's a conceptual idea. Now, we are calling what's on screen light rays, and what John's saying is just light. It's just light.
Agreed. It doesn't matter what demonstration did they got that you can look through a telescope and see your rear end. They got none. So that's out of the question unless you show it to me over a vast distance. Here, what we got is 2 of hundreds of pictures I've got and seen personally with my own eyes where I live in California, that the light from the sun is not coming in parallel. And let's not miss the
Well,
point.
now I can't argue with that, but when you say are the light rays parallel, that's when I can attempt to.
Yeah, I'm not stuck on those words because I don't have a telescope that can go.
That's fine. It's been
as
corrected.
such.
It's been addressed. Good. And you've automatically adjusted your language. Perfect.
All right, so here we go. Back to the first picture that shows the presupposition of a globe and Eratosthenes' test.
Okay.
Big problems here. The only place on a sphere that you can have 2 lines meet and create an angle is right there in this drawing, the central angle. But what's happening is you got to be there taking that reading for it to be real. Where is the reading being taken as they play this little magic trick on us? On the surface.
Oh, sorry.
The surface has an arc. And you've seen the pictures with the tangent line, the local tangent plane that they have to draw. And so the whole point here is that the sextant is being used not at the center of the Earth where the central angle can be achieved, but that central angle is achieved on the surface of the Earth with a sextant, but you need to be on a plane to get that angle because you need 2 straight lines. And one of those lines is set on the horizon. And the dip correction is from wherever the height you were on, the ship you were on. It could be an oil tanker, you're 30 feet, 40 feet up, or you could be on a sailboat and you're 9 feet up. You must deduct that before you do the mathematics. Why? Because you got to get that eyeball of yours from 9 feet to sea level. Sea level to the horizon. All readings start with the horizon, and you got to go down to the sea level with your eyeball to the horizon, which is a baseline, flat, straight line. And then
I'm trying to get in before the show starts. I've been waiting. I'm sorry.
What is your malfunction, boys?
Because it is 3 minutes to the show, and I did politely say that I'd like to interject. So the reason I'm interjection is because I'm tired of hearing this before the live show. I want this to happen between 9 and 10. Every day, this is talked about, and never or rarely, unless it comes up in conversation, do you
I think you're wrong.
this.
No, I think he's got a point. I think he's got a very valid point. And I'll tell you why I think he's got a valid point, 10th. I'll direct this to you. Thank you, Eli. The commenter, in my response, got the reply, go and check out any pre-show for the last 3 straight months. And that was my reply to him, because what else am I going to say? Because that's where it gets dealt with.
Are you just saying he never talked about this before?
I said rarely, and when it does, it happens to come up in midst conversation. It's not like
the
way
you mean
he's
the live
laying
show?
It out right now. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I got you.
Okay, 10th. I'm happy. I would like, if you're willing, for you to do this presentation during the live show. But I want to preface it. I know we've only got a couple of minutes before the live show actually starts. So in one of the videos that's coming out, I've lined up a whole bunch of stuff about Ruhif cats and Ranty, or Cats and Co, as I've called them. in terms of their debunking of all globe Earth models, assertions with calculators, and all that good stuff. And in one of them, I had a link, so like they call them cards in YouTube video terms. It just pops up above the video at a particular point. And I set that particular point to be when I'm describing the juxtaposition between their perspective that they're holding up as a straw man and what has been described by Life is Short. Now, the video that I start on, if you click on that particular button when it appears, where I'm like, juxtapose what Katz has said with what we actually detail, what it immediately pops up with is a part of the presentation where it's describing what eye level is. And he's like, well, he didn't say this in the presentation, it doesn't say this, but this is all notwithstanding weather. Yeah? He said eye level is the horizon always rises to eye level because that is eye level. That's what your eyeball level is. So, again, I'll pepper it with the disclaimer. This is all notwithstanding weather. He's just detailing effects of perspective in the minutiae, the detail that you'd kind of want them to go into if they're going to try and burn it, with that alone not having any weather part of it. But I just wanted to get that in because I thought it was quite beautifully appropriate that was where I'd hacked the videos up, and it started on a slide saying, well, the horizon rises to eye level because it is eye level.
I just want to say 2 words. By design.
Yeah, that's how your eyeball works.
No, not referencing eyeball. Referencing why I do it on the pre-show. By design.
All right, well...
Why not the live show, too?
Well, let's hear his answer. Obviously, that's the question that follows that, but go ahead, Ten.
When I first brought it up to you, first of all, I've been looking at this for over a year. It's very complex at some parts and very simple at others. I decided to throw my whole weight into it, watching videos every day until my eyes can stay open, reading, downloading sextant manuscripts and manuals, everything. Seeing that where they contradict. I said, you know what, I got something here, but this is going to take a while. So now we're at this point. And then there was a show a while back ago, and you said, why don't you do a full present and come to the... No, you said, why don't you do a full present, put it on your channel? I said, I got so many slides, it's so long. I didn't do it in bits and pieces. And then I said, look, Nathan, you got a YouTube channel for money because this is your life, and I don't do it for that. So why not if I just come on your show and do bits and pieces? You said, fine, I'll take it. And I'm happy to do it, by the way. So I said, all right, so by design, I'll do it on the pre-show, little by little, until what happens.
Okay, so you're saying you'd like to keep it in the pre-show till it's spit and polished all up, everything's totally concise, and then it becomes a presentation, then it gets hopefully parroted by everyone who's heard the really concise version. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying that I'll do little bits and pieces until people say, dang it, get this on the live show. This is too good.
Now's that time.
Like
now
now.
is that time. Now's that
I'm
time.
pretty sure. Sorry.
No, go ahead, Eli.
Okay. I can't say I'm pretty sure, but that's what I've been thinking for about a month now.
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live, and there's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Also below this video, you can get £50 for swapping your UK electricity supplier to Octopus Energy. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show on Facebook and Twitter. One last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button to keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. Now, we are joined by Father of a Stolen Child, Neil. I believe we've got Arwin joining right in the middle of the introduction, of course. We've also got Eli and 10th Man, together with a whole bunch of people in Discord. So welcome one and all.
Hello.
Morning, morning. Hello.
Afternoon.
And Discord as well. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, Hart. Hello, George. Hello, Rams. Thank you. Brilliant. Perfect. Any evidence of a physical geometric sphere edge horizon formerly known as Earth curve, formerly blocking the Isle of Man, formerly a tangent point?
Formerly the horizon.
Formerly Earth curve.
Well, if it's formerly, then what they use for centuries is they're giving it up.
Nobody
Why did
claims
they
the
give it up?
horizon is Earth
The
curve
question is, why did they give it up?
because we debunked it with the Black Swan.
Ah, there you go.
Well, if you're
Every
pulling
long distance photograph is a black swan photograph.
Yeah, not
Are we
necessarily.
into the first housekeeping question? What are the
Armin's
signs
not.
of Earth curvature?
Yeah, that's what we're asking. Any signs of Earth curvature? I've got a whole series of videos coming out debunking Katz and co. That would be Ruhif Ranti and Katz himself, in terms of their assertions regarding perspective and their crude understanding thereof, which they're trying to burn as a flat Earth strawman. Now, there's presentations that have been made, shockingly, on Ranti's channel that have taken, hacked up, mirrored, etc., that I'm now referencing in terms of what has been detailed from our side in terms of perspective, the very comprehensive understanding that we have laid out there for an audience, unlike the, as I say, pathetic understanding and demonstrations of their feeble comprehensions when dumbing it down to the point where it can be burnt by them as a strawman. So check out those videos. The most recent uploads are delayed to come out at about 8:45 or 9:15, depending on what time I've got a Uncut and After show on the second channel. But that's coming out over the next 2 or 3 days. So obviously I'm talking to anybody who's watching live now. But over the next couple of days, those trimmed out clips showing the devastating effect of the Black Swan in action. Now, we're quite good in this regard. So while we've been moaning that nobody gets it, not getting it has led to quotes from people like Tim Osman, nobody claims the horizon is Earth curve. People like Samurai coming here telling us that literally no globe has ever claimed the horizon's Earth curve. And Katz highlighting perspective with an image that's got a black swan in it. Now, this has all led to us going back to the Isle of Man, and I've actually asked Anthony Riley, Sleeping Warrior, to rejoin with the data from that particular debate 3 years ago about the Isle of Man. We'll go through it again. The horizon definitely wasn't refracted. It was claimed to be proven in those arguments. They were using calculators with tangents to horizons that were claimed to be Earth curve, getting in the way of that island. Not anymore! Invalidating every single Earth curve calculator. So it's big news. You know, I don't often put the word breaking in my videos because there's not a lot of new stuff that we talk about. But we've finally got a segue between the Black Swan and all former claims of Earth curve. It's absolutely brilliant. So yeah, I'm going to be planting myself on this particular subject thanks to Katz. I've even made up a little hashtag about him. Thanks, Katz, because that little segue was missing up until now. So I'm very grateful. I've got, I'm a videographer, so I've got loads of material to make videos with. So I'm like a pig in shit at the moment. I'm very happy.
Yeah. It's funny. I just had a conversation earlier with riding on eggshells, or attempted to have a conversation with him. And he says, why do flat earthers claim that, the what we claim about the horizon? I said, well, it's not our claim. And he says, well, I've never heard anyone other than flat earthers claim it. And then I said, oh yeah, hold on, be right back. Posted a video that was like 1 minute and 30 seconds long. And the guy says, hey, have you ever wondered how far the horizon is? Well, just assume that your eyes were like you know, however many inches or feet above the water. He says, then we know that the horizon is at this distance because of the geometry. And I'm like, there you are. And he still says, well, yeah, but no one says the leading edge of the sphere. I don't know what to do with that. You can't fix that.
Well, you can't fix stupid if he doesn't know. Like we have in the comments, you show me the edge of a sphere. So I've now got an auto response that I just type in a couple of words and it automatically fills in the rest. That says, this is pretty crude, but that's me. I'm sorry, audience. I'm like, yeah, the edge of my balls can block my feet, but the edge of Earth blocking boats, buildings, and the Isle of Man is debunked by the Black Swan. In other words, if you want to deny that you've got an edge blocking things in the distance, that's the primary claim you make in the first instance, that the Earth's a sphere. So deny it all you like, but you'll get teabagged. That's what I imply.
Yeah, I mean, you won't just get teabagged, but every time you're talking to me, if I'm present, all I'm gonna do is play a video from 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 7 years ago, 9 years ago, that'll say exactly what you're claiming isn't the case. Someone telling you that the horizon is at a geometric location based on your elevation. Not even an argument.
Right.
What they say.
Until we debunked it with the Black Swan, now they specifically tell us the horizon's not Earth curve. Well, okay. The horizon's not Earth curve. Welcome to Flat Earth. That's the end of your globe Earth assertion. You claim it with geometry. And when we said, why no perspective? Well, because our claim's geometric, was their reply. Well, no, you haven't got a geometric horizon anymore, therefore you don't have a claim anymore. Your perspective omitting calculators didn't include it because it was geometric, so when you drew a tangent it was okay because you were doing geometry, but then you bend that line and it's no longer capable of having geometry done anymore. Now that's the essence of the Black Swan, it has been from day one. But they go refracted, thinking they're giving us a rebuttal, and it's starting to sink in. When someone like Rumpus is forced to come here to defend the Blackpool Swan, thanks to Cat's cock-up, and ends up having to admit that they never had a horizon block in the Isle of Man, invalidating all Earth curve claims made to date. And I've highlighted that in those trimmed-out videos. They've invalidated every single claim they came here to make, including Ruhif's claims. So the most recent that's coming out in a couple of days highlights exactly that. Ruhif's came here just like all the rest of them, and drew tangents to what he called was Earth curve, and asked us to quantify how much or little it was getting in the way of things they refracted. Well, that was Earth curve they were trying to prove with that tangent they mathematically derived from that geometry that they insisted they used because it didn't need perspective. Thanks, cats. What's that? Perspective's real? Yeah, we know. Been saying it for 3 straight years, mate. But it's nice for a Glober to finally come out with it so we can get back to that Black Swan in your image and how it debunks your physical assumption bias and an R value you used to do it. You haven't got it anymore and your image proves it. The Blackpool Swan's just as good as our Black Swan. It debunks Earth a sphere with a radius 3959 because every distance to horizon could be no more than 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet, and conspiracy cats and go Black Swan image is beyond those geometric limitations. Not only that, what's he doing alongside that very fact? Well, he's talking about perspective that's excluded in his maths. And man, he's brought the whole deck of cards down. It really is great. I'm so happy at the moment. Obviously, I can't hide that very easily. But, you know, that's going to get a whole bunch of work out of me and enthusiasm to do that work, because it's showing every single time they claimed that Earth curve was getting in the way of anything ever, that it was a total lie. It's totally invalidated now. Brilliant. Do you move on from Earth curve? Nobody's objecting. Any evidence of axial rotation of the Earth-based variety?
Yeah, we have Foucault's pendulum and laser ring laser gyros.
So Coriolis, you think Coriolis proves we're spinning, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Well, if Earth was turning beneath a gyro or pendulum at 15 degrees an hour, that means we've got a separate, non-inertial turning reference frame. And if the inertial reference frame with the gyro spinning in fixed space, or the pendulum swinging in fixed space, is deviating because we're turning beneath them, Well, then we'd be turning beneath aeroplanes and drones and helicopters and hot air balloons, and they'd be drifting at 15 degrees an hour. We'd notice. We don't. Nothing from the ground is drifting away at 15 degrees an hour as we turn beneath it. That's nonsense.
Well, the conservation of angular momentum.
I just asked you if it was a Coriolis claim, and you said yes. Conservation of angular momentum. Where are you getting an R value for that particular claim that doesn't have Coriolis in it? In fact, it violates Coriolis effect. No drift from the ground as we turn beneath. Conserving momentum. What's that got to do with Coriolis, first point? Secondly, where are you getting an angular value for your R in this conservation of angular momentum? No R value, mate. We've debunked it with the Black Swan. By the way, this is John's argument that I'm now using against him as he plays devil's advocate for the adverse point in his own argument. Complicated, but that's what's just happened. Very cool.
No, because once you start claiming it, it's your argument.
Yeah, he's playing devil's advocate, though, and he knows damn well he's given me the reply to this argument to make it so concise so we can move through it quickly.
I know.
Epic, by the way. Black Swan debunking Coriolis, 15 degrees an hour. Boom! What's that you say? Conservation of angular? What? You need an R value. Black Swan. Get lost.
Yeah, both angular velocity and angular momentum require a radius value to be measured so that you can calculate that, and they don't have a measurement anymore.
Bummer. Shame they haven't got the geometric physical sphere edge horizon they used to claim was blocking the Isle of Man, and I recently heard Rumpus describing how you could measure a dip angle to it, to Haunted House. Explaining how you could measure a dip angle to a geometric horizon, no less. Ain't that right, Rumpus? I need to trim that out. Point out how you lie to people really overtly these days. We don't see that horizon, by the way. Anybody who watched Jose's discussion, or Jose's channel discussion with Rumpus and Haunted House, where he's describing measuring a geometric horizon by way of dip angle. Something that he cannot see and does not exist, and he has disclaimed that quite clearly. Yet he's still telling Haunted House he can measure a dip angle to a geometric horizon. I thought nobody saw it, claimed it, or ever needed it. Yet there he is talking about how he measures it. No. We long debunked our 2020, mate. 1st Jan. You don't have an R value anymore. What do you mean you're measuring a dip angle to a geometric horizon? You can't see it. Foolish fool. Wretched wretch. Do we move on from axial rotation? No objections? Any evidence of the distance to the sun?
Zero on that.
That's a negative.
If we could get that radius value down, maybe that would have a little bit more validity.
Yeah, if Brian was here, he'd be talking about how you wouldn't get the speed of light from that either. Debunking Einstein. Oh dear. He's not here, but I'll speak on behalf of Brian because he's basically ace. No more distances to the sun? Oh, what do you know? Look on screen. It's that geometric horizon that they used to claim blocked boats, buildings, and the Isle of Man, with its geometry and tangent points that they gave us the maths for and calculated how Earth curve was proven with it. These days, we're told nobody claims the horizon is Earth curve, except National Geographic. Yeah, we've debunked this. What's on screen now? This geometric physical Earth curve edge obstruction in Muppet Vision, where you see the side of your own head and the target. Now, if this was representative on Earth in scale, this boat would be hundreds, if not thousands of miles away by scale. But yet, in the picture, the boat is represented as the same size comparatively to the man by scale. Well, that makes no sense. Well, that's because they exclude perspective when they show things like this. So they can call the effects of perspective that aren't just angular size reductions at distances. Cats, you clown, your rudimentary understanding of perspective is being pulled apart and held up in juxtaposition with life is short. Oh, by the way, Ranty was there. How embarrassing. Just shows how stupid you are when it comes to perspective now, doesn't it, Cats? Because that's what you think we think, even though the guy next to you knows damn well it isn't. Yeah, we're just showing how stupid you are when it comes to perspective, Cats. You clearly don't know what it is. Hey, Adam.
Good afternoon, guys.
Have they figured out that they can't use a ruler when they've got angular size changes at distances only when they're burning that little straw man because the rulers don't scale correctly as things get further and further into the distance? You know, they don't remain like a mountain would at 1,000 feet or whatever they use. Have they figured that out yet, even though you've told them 6 times?
I think that's still a premise for their claim, I'm afraid.
Oh, they really want to keep hold of that straw man? How stupid are they? I mean, how many times are we going to say the word straw man and show them how it's a straw man and how it doesn't work with their rulers that don't scale with angular size changes, the very claim they're making? Do we just have to keep saying it and they ignore us?
It's funny you mentioned that because Ruhif thinks that it's quite okay to use a linear scale on the bottom parts that are being squashed up. And he says, no, it can be a linear scale because obviously that puts the horizon point, the base of the mountains way below the horizon. But he thinks that that's okay because he thinks that when you point out that these things are squashing or converging upwards from the bottom because they are evidenced in the picture, he says that we're only arguing that because we need to. He doesn't acknowledge that we're arguing it because it's demonstrably there in the evidence. He completely ignores that point. The guy's dishonest. Ruhif's lying to a lot of people, and
Hold on.
no one's calling him out on his side.
You're telling me that Ruhif's now conceding that you can use a linear change over distance? As he's claiming that in his straw man. That's interesting, Ruhif.
The linear, and I've told him why you can't, and he completely
regardless,
ignores
Anthony.
it.
Let's just say we accept that, just for the sake of what I'm about to say. Well, that wasn't applied when you ascribed only feet and inches values to lighthouses, Ruhif. The same lighthouses that you drew a tangent line to. That'd be a straight line to the Earth curve you thought you were proving when you were debating with us over the Isle of Man. Just so you know, Ruhif, minor point. Very minor, given that all claims of Earth curve are debunked based on the calculations used by you in the Isle of Man debate. You remember those tangents you drew here? Oh dear. What's that you say? Also a big problem that you didn't apply any linear changes, even though that's not accurate, but that's what you're saying you can use. Well, why didn't you? Well, we'll discuss that as well after we get to that tangent that you didn't ever see, Ruhif. I don't know why you were drawing a line to it claiming you were proving Earth curve when you claimed how much was or wasn't missing of a lighthouse we could see. Yeah, that's straight line, Ruhif. You didn't have that to do the geometry you did, invalidating every single claim you made here. Now, we'll get to the perspective and linear or otherwise that wasn't applied as well after we get to your now debunked Earth curve claims in that debate we had. No, Ruhif. That straight line you were trying to prove was Earth curve getting in the way of man didn't exist. Didn't you know? It's called, get a pen, the Black Swan. And you've got one of your own. It's in your image that you're touting. You've got a Blackpool Swan, mate. So this all nicely ties together and voids every claim you made here, Ruhif. How very embarrassing. Obviously, the linear or otherwise changes, we'll get to that too. But meanwhile, every claim you ever made is void. Just so you know, Ruhif. You can thank cats. Who just joined? Chocolate, hey, how you doing? Day 9 of the massacre. Chocolate saying, come in, Chocolate saying.
Good morning. Sorry, it's loud at work.
That's all good. We're slowly crawling our way through housekeeping questions. Any scientific evidence of gravity?
Gravity, what's that?
Yeah, they can't even define gravity, Nathan.
Well, if you want to define it with Newtonian, there's a problem with the black swan. And if you want to define it with Einsteinian, there's a problem with the black swan. So
Now, I'm not sure which type it is, but I heard yesterday that gravity makes things that are on a ball look locally flat for 25 miles. So maybe that's evidence, because if you look out, look at the black swan, it's flat. They're saying that that's gravity. So
yeah, that would be ranty.
Disco ball.
Oh, right.
Well, it is measured flat, but there's no longer a contrary measurement that claims that there's a tangent point in the distance that you can do a measurement.
Locally flat. How convenient.
Okay, so I'm trying to type on my show keyboard, which is a tiny little Bluetooth thing, and I'm all thumbs on it, which is useless to try and respond to the chat. So, Speak Truth says Nathan thinks Blackpool pick is a black swan. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I have challenged him to come on the show and try and
Not just
explain.
a black swan, it's a...
Adam's keen. Go ahead, Adam.
I'll just say, I'm driving these things. I'll just say, it's not just a black swan. It was given a proper baby title. It's got its own title. It's the Blackpool swan, mate. It's not just a black swan. You know, they picked a beautiful area to do it in. It has the tie-in.
Yeah, what Speak Truth is incorrectly doing is he thinks that because the turbine is in the image, he thinks that that's the way it should be represented on a sphere. He doesn't realise that that whole mountain that turbine sits on is gone by Earth curve. So even though we see it in the image, that doesn't make it compatible with a sphere, because if it was a sphere, Speak Truth, the horizon would be right up to that and it would be blocked by Earth curve, but it isn't. That's why it's a black swan.
Sorry, maybe I'm a bit complacent in this regard. Do these people realise that what they were presented by Cats & Co. was cropped, cherry-picked, and excluded a large section where the horizon was way beyond the geometric limitations of a sphere radius 3959? Are they unaware of it, maybe?
I think they just completely ignore the fact that we see the turbine that should be gone behind the curve. He doesn't acknowledge that that shouldn't be seen.
No, they ignore the cropped portion entirely. They don't ignore the turbine. They ignore the cropped portion because that side of the picture isn't part of their argument. At least that's what I've been told.
Yeah, but it does become part of their argument because you can tie it back to Ranty at the end. Once you acknowledge the turbine is evidenced in the image and you acknowledge how much of the mountain that it's sat on, you can then go back to Ranty's argument and point out that
you're talking at cross purposes. So
I'm not.
Eli's saying cropped out bit left hand side, black swan. You're saying no, turbines, and he's saying not turbines, black swan. And you're saying turbines.
I was just
turbines.
I was literally just going to pin it back together, and you let me do it again.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll step off.
So Ranty's claim is that the mountains appear to be too low relative to the Blackpool Tower in the foreground, and he attributes that reasoning to be to do with drop or hidden. He said drop in his explanation, but he means hidden. Now we can verify that by checking the land at the left-hand side that was cropped out by somebody dishonestly, and we can acknowledge that if it was drop or hidden the way Ranty claims, then the whole mountain that the turbine should be sat on should be gone to Earth curve. So when you acknowledge that the turbine is there, you can then go back to Ranty's observation and say, whatever the reason in his opinion for the drop or the hidden is not actually geometric because it's evidenced in the image. So now whatever the reason is, we don't have to explain it. It's not our claim. But what we can rule out is a hidden or drop because that's not the cause.
Yeah. Back to the linear perspective that they can apply and isn't. Double drop was covered in 2017 by you, Anthony. How are they getting on with that? And then we'll get to the model after this. Maybe I'll ask Adam. Adam, you've done several presentations precisely on Anthony's point back from 2017 about the double drop. So we can apply linear straw man flat earth perspective. We can do that, right? Yeah, you don't.
I need about half an hour, Nathan. I've asked for some images off Tony last night where he was having an early night, poor lad. So he sent them this morning. I'm literally just getting back from work now. And if you give me half an hour, I should just have another little graphic that will help illustrate what we're about, just that point.
Indeed.
Needs a half hour to get out of his cave.
There's you. Any single viable hypothesis from any of the fields of astronomy, cosmology, or astrophysics?
No, but they think they're doing science. That's obvious.
Any evidence
Let
of
me
a
just-
self-perpetuating?
How do you do knowledge?
Let me just address the Rumpus in chat. He says that, but Rumpus says, the turbine is not obscured by Earth curve. You have no doubt misidentified the appropriate wind turbine because you are a moron. Actually, Rumpus, what's his name? Ruhif agrees with me. It is the correct turbine. I know Ranty doesn't agree with me, but it is the correct turbine. And it is supposed to be obscured by Earth curve. Sorry.
A few more things to get to. Have they got to an accurate height yet? Have they figured that out? We've had 4 so far. Even Ranty and Katz have disagreed, and Katz has got it from a model that presents as flat. I mean, we'll get to that as well, but how are they getting on with actually getting to the height of the observation?
Let me just address Ranty in chat. He says, no, I do mean drop. He always gets it wrong. Well, if you meant drop, Ranty, the camera observer must be at sea level, and we know that he was not quite at sea level, so you must have meant hidden, Ranty. Didn't think you'd make that kind of mistake knowing your knowledge and experience.
Well, why is there no drop? We've shown it. We've shown an elevation profile, and there's no drop. What are you babbling about?
Yeah, come on, Rumpus. Why don't you join and let's see about this turbine that you think that I've incorrectly identified.
Why? It's a black
Why don't
swan.
Ranty get his
Sorry,
ass
why
in
are we
here?
going to discuss his question about how it relates to his sphere when he begs the question of an R value, goes to a begging the question, proof of nothing, perspective hijacking Earth curve calculator that formerly had tangent lines drawn to Earth curve edges that were blocking the Isle of Man? Are we going to go through all of that so that he can beg the question? No, I don't think so. Now, it's come to a head again, Rumpus, that your, what was his words for it? Shore-to-shore observation of the Isle of Man. Yep. Now, 99% dogs eating your homework. That was what we got up until now. 3 years of excuses. Now, you re-brought that up last time you were here. Now, ray tracing or otherwise, that was your last opportunity to beg the question. I made that explicitly clear 3 years ago. We debunked your begging the question, proof of nothing, perspective hijacking Earth curve calculator that now had a horizon that wasn't actually proving it was blocking the Isle of Man, because that dumbed down version didn't have a refracted horizon, as we're now supposed to accept. Right, Rumpus? Invalidating every bit of Ruhif's geometry, your geometry, Katz's geometry, and every Earth curve calculator that exists. Because they all claim Earth curve with its geometric horizon gets in the way of stuff. It doesn't. It doesn't even exist. Now, if you want to beg the question, I've asked Anthony, prepped him, to get that information to hand for the shore-to-shore, in quotes, observation that didn't have any tangent point horizon blocking your view. Well, that was your last opportunity to beg the question, Rumpus. Chop to it. You got 99% done, right? Should be easily capable of getting on here and telling us all about your model with its ray tracing. So where the hell is it? 3 years? You're a pathetic excuse for a man. Now you do that last percent. It must be exceptional. It must have so much spit and polish on it by now. 3 years of 99% done. So that was your last opportunity to beg the question with your proof of nothing perspective hijacking Earth curve calculator. P.S. Ruhif says linear perspective can be used. That was your excuse, right? Why you were using geometry, excluding perspective because it's geometric. Not anymore. Refracted, right? No geometry that can be acquired from that horizon to prove its Earth curve. So what you want? You want to go through that shore-to-shore observation and beg the question? Be my guest. It's only been 3 years of excuses. I'm sure you're dead keen. I don't think, given that we've literally in the last week, thanks to Katz, debunked every Earth curve calculation that's ever been claimed here, and in effect debunked every Earth curve calculator, because they all claim Earth curves get in the way, and you fuckwits are telling us how it doesn't. It's not Earth curve. No one would expect to see Earth curve. Nobody's claiming the horizon is Earth curve, right, idiots? Yeah, I don't think so, Anthony. We're not going to be talking about the turbine, so we can immediately beg the question of his calculator that's been debunked by the very image he wants to discuss the turbines in. It's a black swan. Got to be joking. Your geometric horizon in that image is beyond the limitations of your geometry. Remember, geometry, the excuse for not having perspective? What's that not geometric? Refracted? Unlucky. Yeah, Ruhif also 2 days from now, he'll be held to task, thanks to Katz, for his failure to make a valid claim in the first instance when he was here. Because every claim he made with a tangent to a horizon's void. Thanks, cats. This is so good.
Yeah.
It's difficult though because they can still. They can still just point at a picture and then say, "Look, this is where the geometric horizon is," even though it's just a point on the Earth, and they don't even realize that what would have made it a horizon is that it would actually obscure things. So, but they just point at the location, which is not a horizon, and then say, "This is the geometry. Here's the geometric horizon," even though it's not actually functioning as a horizon, and that's okay now, right?
No, it's not. And it wasn't okay then. Rumpus is now in the chat lying. I've got plenty of account of him lying about this, and he's going to keep lying about it seems, from my chat. You moron. The procedure has not changed since the Isle of Man. Yeah, it has. You drew a tangent, Rumpus. I said it 6 times when you were last here. So you drew a tangent to it. Not asking, telling you, Rumpus, what you did to prove that line that was straight proved the Earth curve it met. Well, the procedure now is that you don't have that tangent. You couldn't have even done that geometry. So don't lie from my chat, Rumpus. Why was it that I had to ask you 6 times about you not having a tangent if it's refracted? Yeah? You think that's going to go away in a hurry? No, mate, that's the actual consequences of the Black Swan. It's just taken 18 months for you to have to be here defending it because of a clown called Cats. Now you've got to bring it right to the forefront, haven't you, Rumpus? And lie about what you claim to be proving in the Isle of Man. Here it is on screen. It was claimed these turbines were going over Earth curve. Not anymore, because the Earth curve they claimed it was going over, proving that very Earth curve, is refracted now. Oh, right, how are you going to draw a tangent to it then? To prove it in your geometry that you're asserting, or were when you were here with tangent lines to it. But they're not tangents anymore, refracted, procedure hasn't changed. Lying scum. Definitely changed. Used to be what you were proving, now it's refracted, mate. Refracted ends your model, dickhead. Shout out to Godzilla. Go on. Go on, Eli. Then I'll shout out Godzilla after.
Okay. I like the way someone put it earlier because they broke up the word geometric. And it's like, yeah, geo, earth, metric, measurement. And it's like, if you don't see it, well, how is it measured then?
Yep, that's John's point.
How?
Exactly. John, father of a stolen child, keeps reiterating that over and over again. It's his reason for converting to flat Earth, if we want to talk about conversion stories. The only thing that you can cement in reality when you've got a reification of a globe Earth model was that you could measure its geometry at the horizon. And if you can't measure it, it's not geometric, then you don't have a globe of globe Earth anymore. Shout out to Godzilla. Ranty, enjoy your newfound company of snakes and liars. I'm sure you'll fit right in. Yeah, we've got one of them in the chat now telling us that the procedure applied when drawing a straight line to a horizon they claimed to be proven as Earth curve in the discussion of the Isle of Man has now and always had lie. A bent line instead of a tangent that they drew when they did the geometry. Nah, they drew a straight line to it in the Isle of Man discussion and claimed they were proving it with that straight line. And they knew the things that they were moving up and down to bend the conditions to meet their reification. They were being refracted, and they knew because it was refracted with respect to the tangent horizon they were proving. Of course, now Rumpus is lying and saying, no, it was always a bent line to the tangent we claim to prove as Earth curve. Lying scum.
Nathan, there's a comment Bev just put in Master B on the subject.
Okay, I'll dig that out. Let's just get to the end of housekeeping then. Any evidence of a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth?
No.
Hell no.
Any evidence that you can have gas pressure without the necessary antecedent of a container?
No.
No physical demonstrations of that.
Wait. Rancy's picture doesn't prove that? That's not a correlation right there. I mean, if we're living on a globe, that must exist, right? That must be one of the characteristics that we have gas pressure without a container. So would a picture being presented prove that? Guess not.
Sorry. I don't understand the relevance of Bev's comments that he's posted, so I don't want to bring him up because I don't know what to say in defence or affirmation of what he's put. Sorry.
Let me just address Speak Truth. He says, Ranty, they are too scared to discuss your actual point. They won't address the navigation marker on the left. I'm not sure that was part of his claim. Or the fact that there is a higher turbine next to Sleeping Warrior's turbine, which I've already addressed. It is blocked by the building in the foreground if it's in the image at all. So there's 2 points that you're lying about. You've got to do a lot of lying if you're a ball earther right about now.
A lot of obfuscation too. So this is how this conversation's progressing. Black Swan. No. Obfuscation turbines. Obfuscation minute detail. Focus on the minor point. Focus on the minor point. Black Swan. No. Turbine. Strawman. Perspective. Black Swan. That's going to go on forever.
Are they in your chat doing damage control right now? Is that what
it seems that way? Yeah, they're in full damage control. It's day 9 of Globe Earth damage control for the cock up that Cats has caused.
Well, it was over there in my show too. Like it really, everybody just like, oh, talk about Ranty, debunk Ranty. Oh, Ranty was right. It's
well, anyway.
Well,
did Ranty ever express that he wasn't going to come on to the show for any reason?
Oh, who cares?
That he's been a part of for.
But we dealt with it immediately.
A long time ago.
Anthony dealt with it comprehensively 2 days ago. Now, I encouraged him to trim it out. He didn't, but I like doing it, so I did it anyway and put my own flair on it. So that's now come out. But as I was editing it, I was like, the main point here is that they don't have a model. Here's our elevation profile. There's no drop. Ranty's just in the chat confirming that he did actually claim drop. Where is it? We've modelled it. We've shown it immediately. In a flat earth model. With no drop. Where's yours?
Yeah, I'm sorry. The only reason I brought Ranty up is because someone said he's in the chat. And I'm like, all of these people that are in the chat, I mean, you've been a part of this show before. As a matter of fact, ballers who aren't flat earthers, they're a part of the show too when they decide to be. Well, anyone who has a coherent objection to what's being said here, why can't you just come on to express yourself?
I'm here.
Excellent. Have you got the shore-to-shore observation with your begging the question, proof of nothing, perspective hijacking earth curve mathematics that had a dumbed down horizon that didn't need to be refracted when you drew a tangent line to it? Have you got that?
You want to talk about the Isle of Man and not the Blackpool image then?
I also asked you specifically about where in the Isle of Man discussion when you lied to us all about having definitely drawn a refracted horizon when in fact you drew a tangent to an earth curve you claimed you were trying to prove. You said you'd come back on Monday, it's now Wednesday, with that show. Where is it?
You're a wanker.
Man, they are absolutely terrified of us. He said he'd be back on Monday, telling me where he definitely did when he lied about calculating a refracted horizon that blocked the Isle of Man with its tangent that he drew. I called him on his lie. I said, get me that. When did you show that? What show number? He said he'd be back on Monday. Yeah, I definitely did. And now I'm a wanker? That's the best you've got? Oh my God. This is how much they're screwed, ladies and gentlemen. And they damn well know it. All they can do is ad hom at this point.
Wanker, we know that.
Yeah, wanker. That's all he's got. Oh my God.
Listen to the feelings he's got. As he says, wanker, with all the feelings he can muster.
Do you know any trigonometry?
Why are you white knighting?
Do you know any trigonometry, Nathan? I'd be very interested to know that.
Right, in the trick that they did, they took a full value for the mountain, and yet the mountain closer at the bottom, further away at the top. Don't Cats and Co. understand trig?
You don't.
So I just pointed out what a complete clown Cats is. Because he doesn't seem to understand that the bottom of the mountain isn't representable with feet in inches, that seems to assume when he does his trig that he's burning as a flat earth strawman, in spite of our comprehensive understanding of perspective that I've recently juxtaposed with life is short. None of those things were taken into account with the basic idiotic trig that Cats did, when he assumes he's got feet in inches value and therefore the top of the mountain's the same distance as the bottom. Now, I'm pointing out how thick Cats is, but you want to quiz me on my trig? I'm not using trig to claim a damn thing. I am pointing out how thick Cats is with his trig, though. How'd you like them apples?
You can't do any trick.
So I can't do any trig, as I've just pointed out that I'm not making any claims with trig, but Cats is a clown, and how his trig's wrong. But you want to point out how my trig's wrong? I'm not using trig to do a damn thing except humiliate Cats with his trig.
Can you do trigonometry?
Ask me again about how I've made a claim about trig when Cats is the clown here with his stupid trig. Keep Fundy muting
Nathan,
us from G+, for the love of God. Don't you understand that when we're having a conversation, I'm talking about how humiliating this is for Cats, I'd rather not have constant background noise from G+. Isn't that blatantly obvious? Yeah, we're having a good laugh, and Rumpus is calling me a wanker and asking me about my trig I'm not claiming ever with any trig that's recently been put on the table. And I'm saying, your Cats has put trig on, but he's dumb and has done it wrong. And I'm showing how, with our examples, with our perspective that's heavily detailed and complex, unlike Katz's clown show trig, where he thinks the top of the mountain's the same as the bottom. What a Dumbo! Maybe ask me about my trig that I'm not using to claim anything when Katz is an idiot.
Do you? You don't understand his...
So it's about what I understand when Katz is making trig claims. It's at the end of Rumpus's time here because he really needs this to be my trig claim. What, you still fighting for this to be my straw man as I humiliate Cats with his own trig that you need to be my trig, Dumbo? You need that straw man, don't you, Rumpus?
Understand.
I keep telling me what I don't understand. One more ad hominem you're going to be getting rid of while Eli constantly Fundy mutes this conversation. Won't take a hint.
I object.
Shut up.
Sorry.
Don't apologise. Close your fucking mic. So, Cats is the clown. It's clown show. Yeah, another Eli Fundy muting.
Anybody understand?
Shut up, Rumpus. I'm humiliating the trig that's been done by Cats. I haven't done any. Stop asking about my trig. I haven't done any.
Is correct.
Sorry, why'd you keep Fundy muting me pointing out that Cats' trig is stupid as all hell? Why'd you keep Fundy muting? Are you scared of me humiliating Cats?
Now, let's go through it together then. Let's go through it together now.
Go through what? You're asking me about my trig, I haven't done any. You're going to concede that you're holding up a straw man and you need it to be my trig? Or we're just going to go through Cat's trig that's idiotic?
Show us where it's wrong.
Sorry, whose trig?
Show us where Cat's trig is wrong.
Oh, so we are talking about Cat's fuckwit trig then. I'm glad we got there. You seem to be thinking it was mine. Like, trying to retain that straw man that Cats was trying to burn. So we're definitely going to be talking about the dumbed down Cat's trig. Okay. Cat seems to think the top of the mountain's the same as the bottom. He's a proper retard.
And you can show where he's wrong.
Yeah, the top of the mountain's not the same as the bottom. The bottom's closer.
And you can show where...
I'm saying it, but you seem to be scared of how humiliating Cat's trig is.
Let's go through it together now.
I am. You're ignoring me because it's scary as all hell for a Glober, right? Cats has totally fucked everything up for you guys. And now as I point out, top mountain far, bottom mountain close. You say, let's go through it then.
Where he's got it wrong.
Yeah, I am. While you Fundy mute it.
Let's do it then.
Yeah. Top of the mountain's further than the bottom.
Let's show it. Yeah, let's go through it then with the dog.
Yeah, we are. We're going through it with retards like you who can't listen.
Nathan, you see...
Yes, I'm going through it with a clown who's got nowhere to go thanks to Cats, other than keep asking me to detail how stupid Cat's trig. Not Flat Earth trig. No. Cat's trig that's stupid. Yeah, let's spend all day with you obfuscating away from how simplistically I can pull apart his Mongol trig. Cat's Mongol trig, not mine.
You don't want to discuss it, do you, Nathan?
Oh, I am discussing. Top of the mountain's further than the bottom. You just aren't replying because you talk through it every time. So far, I have said that the top of the mountain is further than the bottom about 10 times, right?
Less trig than a 13-year-old.
Sorry, you're going to go on about my trig again? Need it to be that straw man?
You're claiming his trig is wrong.
My trig? I haven't got any trig. What are you talking about?
So, you see, you don't understand.
Yeah, Cat's trig. Yeah, it's clown show trig, mate. I've got a whole 6 hours worth of stuff on perspective with Life is Short. Ranty was there, mate. You'd have thought Ranty had told Cats while he performed his clown trig. With mountain at the top further, bottom of the mountain closer. Yeah, he's got feet and inches that seems to represent it like it's one value from top to bottom. And we've got Ruhif saying we can do linear perspective. Yeah, well, clown show maths with begging the question, proof of nothing, perspective hijacking, curve calculators definitely don't have any of those perspectives that Ruhif says we can use, right?
Stuff you don't understand.
He's got to go. He's not listening to anything. He's completely shut down. Literally me saying mountain top far away, bottom of the mountain close in Cat's clown show trick. I've said that 11 times and he still hasn't responded to it. Because where's he going to go? He knows how stupid Cats has been. We've got all the documents of him actually on air saying how irritating this is for him.
Analyse it, can you, Nathan? You don't understand his...
Yeah, just a constant stream of ad homs from Rumpus now. Should I kick him out? He's literally got nothing. He's never going to address his clown show trig from Cats.
There's what he's trying to do is the trig that Cats is using is correct for trig, but the problem is we don't have a measurement to do trig with because they refracted the horizon.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you for succinctly summarising that. I wonder if Rumpus is listening.
We do have measurements. We have all the
No, he's just talking through every word that's stated. I think it's time for him to go. We've already explained how Cat's trig's stupid. That's really what we wanted to talk about. I mean, not really. We wanted to talk about the shore-to-shore observation that it's taken you 3 years to put the last bit of spit and polish on. That's what you actually came here for. And as a result of Cats, you've ended up with us pointing out that Cat's clown show trig is humiliating for him. It's not our trig. I know you keep desperately trying to burn that straw man for him. You're never going to happen, clown show. Bye-bye, Rumpus. Get lost.
So, John, you were saying since they are always using refraction as an excuse, it comes to bite them here?
Yeah, you don't have you can measure a dip angle, but that's not a geometric position. Why are you doing geometry?
Yeah, and he was recently talking to Haunted House about measuring that very dip angle that doesn't exist. It's a big problem. It's called the Black Swan. You fundies, got a pen? Black Swan. Now, from Cats, it's the Blackpool Swan. Debunking geometry everywhere it goes. Earth is not a sphere.
But what about those times they point at the ocean in the middle of it and just say, there's where the geometric horizon?
Yeah, horizon's a demarcation point between the sky and land or sky and sea. So pointing at a bit of ocean and going, that's my horizon, is idiotic, Arwin.
But what if it is all just refracted? Sorry.
Well, if it's refracted, then they can't draw a tangent to it like they did in the Isle of Man. You remember, they drew a tangent, said, we're not going to use perspective because it's geometric. And here's our tangent to the horizon, that's Earth curve, and it's proven because look how much it's blocking the bottom. Oh, what, it's not quite right. Well, we can move that lighthouse up and down with respect to the horizon that we drew a tangent to. What's that? It's always been refracted, liar Rumpus. No, you just have to lie now because of Cats. That's the problem, right? Must be very irritating. Blame Cats.
Well, maybe he's sorry. Maybe he's saying he made a mistake because he overlooked that there's always terrestrial refraction.
Overlooked what? The geometric tangent point horizon that he said we would look over when we were comparing refracted targets to that geometric horizon. Yeah, he was definitely in error, Arwin. Every single claim that was made in that regard is void. Including, guess what, Ruhif was also drawing straight lines to horizons and claiming they were Earth curve, saying they got in the way of the Isle of Man, doing all sorts of what he thought were clever maths. Void every one of those claims, Ruhif. Void. Hey, thanks, Cats.
Oh, that's going to be... Sorry, you go, Elijah.
I mean, there's an accent on him agreeing with Cats and being wrong with Cats, and that's fine. But I waited for the better part of almost a week for him to come up with what he promised he would, and that was a very short lived flavor in my mouth. I wanted him to dance around for at least 60 seconds, but because when he said you're a moron, that's not really an answer. And you know, but for the people that claim that no one allows the ballers to talk, I wanted him to attempt to talk his way out of not doing what he said he would do.
I can't do anything about him saying, let's talk about trig. Well, let's talk about your trig that I'm not claiming. And when that gets dispensed with, yes, we'll agree it's Cat's trig. Okay, let's talk about Cat's clown show trig. How is it wrong, Nathan? Well, the top of the mountain's further away than the bottom. After 10 renditions of my response to him and him ignoring it because it's devastating, what am I supposed to do? Let him carry on, having ignored the response in the back and forth? Because it's the end of the road for him? Well, more accurately, Cat's clown show trig that he wants me to have ascribed to it. No, that's just Cat's. He's just thick. And we can talk all day about how stupid his trig is. Yeah, we can. Obviously, it's not our trig, though. It's Cat's trig. And, as I say, I'll plug my own videos. I'm very proud of them. A juxtaposition between Cat's clown show trig and what we actually describe as perspective, only without weather. Obviously, weather's real. We'll get to that when they dance around a little bit about their clown show trig that even Rumpus is here pointing out how stupid it is. And when I point out why it's stupid, in very dumb voices, top of the mountain is further than the bottom. You've got a problem when you're just saying it's this many feet or meters tall, idiots. Yeah? That's why you can't do what you're claiming. And you are claiming it, not us. Definitely not us. It's your clown show trig that you think you're burning as our flat earth claim. It's not. Yeah, that was dealt with on day one. I know Rumpus still needs to come here and start off by telling me I'm an idiot and don't understand trig. Well, I'm not claiming any, mate. It's Cat's, you fool. He's the one with the clown trig, not me. Epic.
I think Eli, with Rumpus's character, the lack thereof, and all the past shows, you were expecting too much.
Well, let's just add that to the list. I mean, we should really give a summary. We've had 4 observer heights. We haven't had a globe Earth model comparison. And weather is real. Check out Bev's time lapse. Now, further to that, we've got this most recent obvious point. Notwithstanding the black swan, obviously the Blackpool swan's devastating. It debunks the Earth as a sphere and invalidates every single Earth curve calculation we've had to date. So all of these points need to be addressed, along with the clown show trig that's been ascribed by Cats. It's just another thing on the list.
Well, you might as well read what Bev posted in Master B, because you can add that to the list.
Okay. I don't understand the context. I've said that. Anyway.
Well, Bev, come on the show, Bev. Tell us the context. But
yeah,
if you read it, it's funny.
Unless he gets it before the after show, he'll have to detail it. I can't concentrate on whether or not it's funny and figuring it out while I'm doing the middle of a live show. I'm sorry. It's too wordy for my meager one-track concentration. Anyway, we've got a whole list of things that need to be ascribed and have been ascribed so far. We need observer heights. We need them to actually model it out as we have already done. We need them to concede their absolutely pathetic straw man in the first instance. Nobody is claiming that perspective only when done in clown show trig by Cats and his appalling understanding of what he thinks is perspective when detailing angular size changes in distance in a linear fashion, when the top of the mountain is far and the bottom of the mountain is close. So your feet and inches values don't cut it. Further to that, all of the Earth curve calculations have been voided. Now, these are all addressable issues by their side. You know, they can't even cope with, you do realise the top of the mountain's further than the bottom. Just so I don't say it all in dumbed down voices for Rumpus who can't cope with this. You know, that's very basic stuff, Globus. Can't you cope with the top of the mountain being further than the bottom? Oh, that's right, you need a little ruler put up the side of a 2D photograph, don't you, to claim your little straw man that's never getting ascribed to us and is getting pointed out daily.
As promised, Nathan. It's getting close, but there you go. There's the side elevation profile from Google, and then what I've done there is apply it to the amount of geometric drop that would occur. So the base of the mountain is now where it would be based on the scale.
Stop.
X, Y.
You're
Stop.
blinking.
It's blinking. You're going to have to turn it off
Terrible.
and then re-screen share.
Okay. Yeah.
Giving all of my audience epilepsy right at the end of the show.
Is that seizure free?
I don't know yet. I'm going to wait.
That's better.
Have a look. Okay, the mic's all yours. Oh, press the wrong button. Yes.
We're good? Yeah. So obviously the bottom image is the standard elevation profile from Google, and it's just to kind of make the point that what we've done here is take the elevation profile and put it on to the geographical positions that the base of the mountain would actually be on the correct Y scale. So I've curved it a little bit. I mean, it's not 100%, but I've put a little bit of curve in, and that amount of curve is representative of where the base of the far mountain would be with regards to where the base of the observer's feet would be. And that's how it would look on a ball, which is probably why Google
no. That's what it would look on a ball if you take Cat's rudimentary understanding of what he's burning as a straw man, calling it perspective, and the drop of a claim to be drop that's not represented in the modelling we've done so far with Google Earth, that we're failing to get a comparative drop model from them for. So it's the double drop of perspective only and Earth curve drop in the top. Correct?
Yeah, no, there's no perspective here. This is just the side elevation profile. So there is no perspective involved. It literally is. When we talk about the double drop, so if we take the bottom picture, this is what we take to just burn a straw man of angular size at distance. We could draw these sorts of angles to that. The point I'm trying to make is look how the angles are perverted. If you make the claim you're on a ball, then you can't use a flat surface. You have to put your elevation profile onto the curve that you're claiming is there. When you do that, it has an effect in terms of the relative positions of the peaks, which is what I did in those earlier ones. So it's just to give a further visual illustration of, if you're going to claim you're on a ball, you've got to put your side elevation on a ball, not on a flat plane, which is what they're still doing.
I understand. So you're showing how, comparatively speaking, this is what we'd want. Well, we've already provided the bottom one. That's had no alteration at all required. That's just what Google Earth give you, a representation of the flat world. Whereas the top one, forget about perspective, that's just how it would represent in orthographic view. Before you try and add perspective to hijack it with the double drop. So I'm just a step ahead of you in terms of what would come next. But yes, I see what your point is now. Excellent. Excellent work, Adam. This is progressing beautifully and quickly, I might add. Well, that's because we've got these things modelled out on a flat plane already now, haven't we? Where's your equivalent? Adam's had to do it for you. We're doing you a favour here, guys. Anyway, shout out to Retro Bill. New baller argument from the numpty trio, that's Cats & Co., that we exist in our own personal 20-mile, quote, locally flat zone, end quote, bubble. Checkmate. We're through, boys. I thoroughly agree, Retro Bill. Thanks for the super chat.
I'm loving this elevation profile, Meekin.
Me too. Excellent. Excellent work. Where's theirs? It's been a week. It's been more than a week. Where's theirs?
Well, we're kind of flat earthers, aren't we?
Where's theirs?
It's too much work ballifying the reality. It's just too much work.
Chat should be at their fingertips. It's supposed to be a ball. Why is it that we've got this at our fingertips as flat earthers and no alteration is needed to make it represent a flat plane as we experience, and yet we've had to go to the effort of bending it around a sphere that we don't experience, and they haven't got one yet? Where's theirs?
They just let us do all the work. And with us, I mean you.
I know. I said we wouldn't do any, and here we are doing all the bloody work for these individuals that haven't got the slightest clue what they're even claiming or burning. Oh, God, guys, do we have to do everything for you idiot globe heads? It's pathetic.
Well, based on what John said earlier, how could they even provide anything if everything's refracted?
They can't. Exactly. That's what I said in another one of the videos that's coming out over the next couple of days. If the line of sight is claimed to be refracted, and I've got a nice trim-outable clip from Rumpus with him getting all exasperated. No, I never said it was a straight line. It's always refracted. Oh, yeah. Well, you'll never be using Google Earth again then. He doesn't know how beautifully led he can be. Rumpus is a clown. But nevertheless, that's what happens when you have the upper hand, win, and your argument stands because it's the obvious and observable nature of your existence. The Earth is obviously, observably, and check it out on screen, measurably flat. Here it is. Still no equivalent on a sphere with drop, like Ranty's claiming is the proof of his conversion. No drop here, Ranty. It's been a week, mate. What are you talking about? Anyway, I've been around at this live show. So with that, I'll say a huge, massive, enormous thank you first and foremost to both Discord and G+ panels for making today's live show possible. And of course, a massive thank you to all of you in either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley. No, it's just a live stream. Just all of you in Nathan Oakley 1980 live stream for smashing the super chat, commenting, sharing, subscribing, and all that good stuff as I contain my excitement about this excellent news. Hashtag thanks, cats. Stay tuned if you're watching on either Premiering stream. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
What a lovely day!
Completely agrees with that. And then we're still a moron, by the way. But
what was it, Elijah? You said that you wanted to hear Rumpus admit. You wanted to.
Sorry, I shouted at you, Elijah.
Sorry, I didn't hear it.
I said, I am sorry I shouted at you and swore at you.
No, it's your show. I'm sorry. I tried to force my hand, so it's my bad. Doesn't make for a good show. But yeah, he did say, like you said, he would come back with something on Monday. Today's Wednesday, and his only reply to that was, "You moron." That's not acceptable.
Yeah. He lied and said that he had absolutely claimed the horizon was refracted when claiming it was a tangent point that was blocking the Isle of Man. Now, that's a lie. So I challenged him to go and get it. He said Monday. It's now Wednesday. And where is it? You're a moron. Well, that's how dead they are. Do you think Rumpus wanted to bring up how he drew tangents to the Isle of Man 3 years ago? Of course not. That's the last thing he wants to be doing. And I remember asking him at the time.
What he wants to draw. I can't stand him when he draws. Come with the evidence you said you have. We've been waiting for stuff. I know I've been waiting since I used to just listen on YouTube.
He just needs to admit he made a mistake for a prolonged time and that he's now only spotting the mistake.
For a long
time.
time.
And what is that mistake,
He needs to just show that he can make mistakes for long times.
Yeah, but what is that mistake?
He have some sense of honor, for crying out loud.
Yeah, Alwyn, what is that mistake?
That he actually measured the horizon as if it was geometric.
Oh, you mean his mistake was to claim that it was blocking the Isle of Man, as he claimed? That was his He should just admit that when he claimed it was being blocked by that tangent horizon he was drawing out all the time in his geometry, and justifying the lack of perspective with geometry, he should just admit he was wrong.
Well, based on Rumpus's own words, he's always right. He's never wrong. And he put a number on it. He put 99.9. So if he was to admit this one mistake, he'd be at 98.9. I'm not sure if he's got the humility for that.
No, he knows that mistake kills his ball.
Yeah, he's got to admit that when he claimed the Earth curve horizon got in the way of the Isle of Man, actually it wasn't. He was wrong.
Right. But he is admitting he was wrong. He's just not admitting he was wrong.
No, he's not admitting he was wrong. He's lying and saying, no, I did actually calculate it as a refracted horizon when I claimed it was a horizon physically blocking the Isle of Man. He just lies about it. He has to, and that's the result of cats. I think it's so great.
If he tells the truth, he essentially says the Earth is not a sphere when he tells the truth. So he can't.
Exactly. He knew he was lying back then. As I went through the edited clips, I could see that while he was telling us that he knew things were refracted because of their position with respect to the horizon, he's got Andrew Thomas Young's diagram scrolling by in the background. So he knew full well he was lying back then. He knew damn well that the horizon he was claiming was a fixed location blocking the Isle of Man was actually a refracted horizon and would make his claims void. He had the diagram then. He lied then. He lies now. He is a liar. And that's what you've got. The most proactive globe defender is a barefaced liar. And you've got to be if you're defending a lie.
I just want
I think he knew he was lying. I don't think they understood that what they were telling us was blocking the Isle of Man. That a few years later down the line, they'd be telling us it's invisible. We can't see it. We've never measured it.
Yeah.
Can't measure it because we've never seen it.
Yeah, exactly. Transpose in over the top of the Isle of Man discussion, someone like Tim Osman saying, excuse me, just want to break up this little discussion about how much the horizon's blocking that lighthouse, to say, nobody claims the horizon is Earth curve. Thanks very much. I'm Back to the Future in 2021.
What would happen if the Globers suddenly started to have some resentment towards their own attitude and actually started admitting that they constantly make mistakes and they're only doing their best? What would
They're
happen?
like,
I got an answer for him
they're like,
before you go 10th. QE's answered this many times. It's pride. Pride stops them.
But what if they overcame that and actually started to take a nudge down with it? What would happen effectively?
Those people
to their
become flat
image,
earthers.
to what
Pride
they
will
try?
not allow it.
They become
Pride will
flat
not
earthers.
allow it.
They become flat earthers. John's one of them. But the people who can't
Oh.
don't. They're the people who come here on the globe side.
Right.
It remind-
that
it-
could happen.
It reminds me of Happy Days when Fonzie, the character Fonzie, he could never say, I was wrong. He'd say, I was.
Well, whenever
was.
whenever they do realize it, and if they are honorable people, they'll spend at least the same amount of time as an advocate for flat Earth as they spent trolling it.
I don't
They have any
know.
on
I think
about 'em.
that differs from person to person. I think a lot of them would just like really just get away from it all and pretend like it all never happened.
That's what John is saying.
Response too.
Sorry, Arwen, but that's what John is saying. John was a baller. He was on shows. He was ad homing, doing whatever to a point because he thought he was right, making fun of flat earthers. Then all of a sudden he was faced with some evidence with the black swan. And since he wanted the truth baseline, that was his baseline. At least, John, if I'm correctly judging you based on your testimonies on the show, your baseline was always the truth. And once something came along the way that disturbed your foundation, that's when everything changed for you.
Yeah. When the measurement was nullified, or shown to be non-geometric, it kind of did it for me. There's no calculations without a measurement.
Who from Discord broke up the word geometric earlier? Because that was a bit of a la moment. If they're claiming it's geometric, well, that is contained within the definition of the word and violated when they're refracted. So it's geometric, right? Measurable geometry. Well, no, what? Not measurable, refracted. Well, then that's not geometric anymore. And your claim of globe Earth's geometric.
Wow.
Yeah, that was me. I heard someone break it up earlier when I was over at 24/7.
Oh, can you shut up, Eli?
Okay.
No, kudos. Good point, Eli. I mean, yeah, exactly. They're claiming the first instance described in the words they use. Well, it's geometric. Is it? Well, no. That's how the argument rolls.
Great point, Eli. Just close your effing mic.
Seriously, every time he opens that thing, there's like a train wreck or a car crash in the background.
Yeah, you don't have to give him a reverse shit sandwich, right? We're trying to commend him on his excellent point, or I was.
I think the thing that bothered me the most about the black swan is if I accept that it's refracted, then I can't do geometry on it. Or I could try to say that it is a geometric position still, and it'd have to be bigger than Jupiter.
Well, if it's, I'm sorry, if it's never been seen, and they put an X on the orthographic view, marking the spot where it would be, but it's never been seen, then it's no longer geometric.
What's never been seen?
The horizon that was blocking the Isle of Man.
Oh, hold up. What's the definition of horizon?
A visible demarcation between either the sky and sea or sky and land. Geometrical in nature in a globe Earth paradigm.
The first word you used was visible.
Yeah, apparent, visible. You can see it.
Well, that's why from the baller's point of view, it's always been a thought experiment.
Because what else are you going to do? Pull out your tape measure? So how else are they going to measure a geometric horizon?
They don't.
How?
Game over.
It's kind of like the reverse of the pictures I just showed, because what they're attaining in reality is that flat data to a little bit, but then they're saying that using R and refraction, they then model it into the top image. They kind of do the reverse of what I've done, if you know what I mean, in terms of what they see, they then transpose into what they think is reality using R, don't they?
Using R?
Hold on, just got Anthony wanting to present to me, I think. Nature shows us. Go ahead, Anthony.
So with respect to the horizon that they're all convinced is Earth curve, Einstein put it best when he said, nature shows us only the tail of the lion, but there is no doubt in my mind that the lion belongs with it, even if he cannot reveal himself to the eye all at once because of his huge dimension. Well, you can paraphrase this with the horizon. Nature shows us that only the horizon is part of the sphere edge or whatever, and you can put that into it, but there's no doubt in their mind that it is the globe's edge. But when it comes down to it, it doesn't marry up. It doesn't match.
You can do the same thing with unicorns and say the horse is undoubtedly the unicorn, but even though we can't perceive its horn.
Yeah, I mean, he could even be feeling, instead of feeling the tail of a lion, it could just be a snake, and there's no lion there at all, and he thinks it's the tail of a lion. It's just like gravity, just like Earth curve.
So the horizon is the spine of a unicorn.
Yeah.
Well, the horizon would be the perception that we perceive, and they say, he's saying, well, there's definitely a lion attached to it. There's definitely a sphere attached to the horizon. He can't feel it, he can't see it, he can't touch it, but he knows it's definitely there because we can never reveal itself because of its huge dimension. It's just perfect equivalence.
But
So
it's
he
not.
really wants
Stop. It's not the perfect equivalence because, and this is where John transitioned. They said they could measure it. It was geometric, but they can't.
It was. What Einstein's basically doing here is he's basically opening the door to begging the question. Like, we feel the tail of the lion, therefore there must be a lion. Not considering that there are other explanations, but if you feel the tail of, like, if you feel what you perceive as the weight of your own arm, who was that guy? The Irish guy, I can't remember what his name was now. What was his name? That nice guy that was in his 50s.
The B.A. Baracus?
No. He called everybody I can't remember what his name was now. He's disappeared off the face of the earth now. Anyway, he's just allowing for begging the question. That was my point.
Well, for them to have distances to the stars and everything else, they had to have measured it because it's part of their whole equation.
Yeah, geometric.
So how can they say they know everything because of the measurement, at the same time say it's refracted and can't be measured?
Cognitive dissonance after begging the question.
Dead in the water right there.
It's a really great idea unless you think about it.
Yeah. I quite liked heliocentrism. I had no issues with it. I didn't see the nihilistic aspects when I was part of it. I felt them, mostly when I watched NASA stuff, I've got to be honest.
I feel icky. Like, these people are straight bullshitters. Like, nobody in NASA ever struck me as having any genuine, like, none of them were genuine to me. It always seemed like a scam. It always just seemed like they're just, oh, everything's nominal, blah, blah, blah. But it's just words putting together just to pass time. That's what it always seemed like to me. Just
And
lies
Nathan,
upon
I'm
lies.
posting. Sorry, Choco. Nathan, can you go to Masterby? I just posted the reference from the Association of American Geographers. I got my last one coming right now.
Okay,
This is on topic.
I think it's on the first page. Let's
Okay.
have a look.
Yeah, hang on. First page is coming over right now, just so people watching it. So go to the last one I just sent.
Starts with AAG at the bottom.
Yeah, so this is from Association of American Geographers. Okay. And go to the next one.
The one before.
Yeah, the one before.
We should embrace
is
the
that
fiction.
the short one, or
we should embrace the.
So we should embrace the fiction in our science, because understanding what we can measure and what we cannot is a very important step to understanding the world around us scientifically. Just break that sentence down before we go to the next one.
Love that.
Someone other than me, please break that down before we go to the next one.
Well,
it sounds like he's trying to base it on a measurement, but like heliocentrism got rid of its measurement when they refracted the horizon.
What is it that they want to embrace?
The fiction and the science.
The fiction in there,
which is supposed to be empirical.
Yeah, the fiction bit is what they want to embrace. The incorrectly identified in this statement science, actually pseudoscience.
Understanding what we can what?
Measure.
Wow.
Can you put that link?
Next one.
Can you put that link in the live stream?
Next one. Radius effective. Radius of the Earth effective. A fictitious value of the Earth's radius. Can they start any better? When used in the formula for the distance from a point to the geometric horizon, gives the same answer as it would using the true value of the radius in a formula for the distance to the apparent horizon.
Got to embrace the fiction and understand what you can and can't measure.
Can you put that link in the live stream or send me in the DM?
Where's that from? 10th. I can't read it. It's too small.
Association of American.
Oh, it's the same. I gotcha. It's the same source. We just had something in between. You should embrace this fiction in our science. Isn't that Michio Kaku?
I will get the actual link for it and post the link so the whole thing can come over.
Okay, so you'll get it in Discord.
Right, so
10th of
yeah, I'll just put in Master B as a link to the whole thing, and then whoever wants it could read the whole thing.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, I remember you brought that up the first time we broke that down. It was hilarious. Embrace the fiction in our science, because we should know what we can measure and we can't. Also, basically, you know what you can't measure and you can't, and we should just embrace what we can't measure as reality, and you call it science. but you know it's fiction, so we must embrace it. It's pretty adorable, actually.
I think it's abhorrent, but that's what the normies get brainwashed with. What can I do?
Sounds like they're saying just accept what we're giving you.
It is. That's
and
exactly
shut
what
up.
they're saying. Yes,
Exactly.
Neil.
Is that where they're confusing the philosophy with the method? Is that what he's doing? Like he's confusing the philosophy that brought the scientific method forward as science instead of the scientific method.
I don't think so. I think you're reading too much into it. I think where he says science, you just substitute that for pseudoscience.
It's like a magic trick. They're at the same time saying they're doing it right, but also embracing fiction, so to say. Like they're basically putting it in a way where they're showing people that they are doing it legit, but really they're not. But they just say they're doing it.
Yeah, because Earth could never be a sphere, so we got a bull crap you on this one. Accept it, buddy.
Well, some of the conspiratorial...
It's like...
Go on, Righteous.
It's kind of like how Jesus said to the Jews, do as they say, but not as they do.
Interesting you should bring a biblical reference at that point, because I was going to note people like Russian vids and various others that talk about them having to disclose the truth within their lies to a certain extent. Now, I don't know if I agree with that. I just know that that's what happens. That is very literally what they do. They'll tell you, we haven't got a geometric horizon. We can't see it. It only exists in the maths. And while they'll tell you that, you're like, well, that's the end of your argument. But they'll be saying it as a defense and essentially embedding the truth in their... It's an embedded confession in their disclaimer for them not having the very thing they're trying to prove. But, that's sometimes spun off by, like I say, people who are a bit more conspiratorial. Often, I can't give another example other than Russian vids. They're also quite religious, or quite Christian, should I say.
Did you notice Ranty was arguing for drop, even though it should be hidden?
Who cares? There's no drop in the diagrams we've presented, and we presented them immediately. He hasn't got a comparison. There is no drop. So I'm glad he has, because great, okay, it's supposed to have drop. There isn't any.
Why, Ranty was in here? Did I miss it? When was Ranty in here? Oh, that don't count. That does not count. Get his coward butt in here.
All right, Nathan, put me on screen a sec. I just want everyone that's in our Google Hangouts just to see what the issue is. I know I've already done this, and I know that you get it. I just want everyone to get it so that if it ever comes up, you understand the point. I'm going to need this black and white image that What's-His-Face did. So where's that one? Right. So let's pull this over here. All right, so obviously this is the left-hand side, right? This whole mound here, I've made it really clear, this whole mound is supposed to be gone by the Earth curve. It's 40 miles away. The claimed observer height, which I don't even agree with, but they say it's 19 feet above water level. They say that mound should be visible. Well, it's 40 miles away. It's 19 feet. The refracted hidden, which is the value that they use, is 670 feet, right?
Objection. Go back. No. They made a disclaimer, Tony. Go back to that. They made a specific disclaimer when they presented this photo, and that was no refraction. So you need to use the figures underneath that they quoted with the picture. Look.
The geometric hidden.
They said no refraction. Geometric results, no refraction, look in brackets. That's what they said their photo was.
Yeah, they did say that. You're right. But let's just give them the benefit of the doubt.
Oh, no. Hold on. If you're going to give them the benefit of the doubt, where's the refracted donkey dick horizon in this maths?
The distance to the horizon?
No. No, the distance to the refracted donkey dick horizon.
5.77 miles.
No, that's the distance to the geometric horizon.
No, the refracted donkey dick horizon.
Distance to the refracted donkey dick horizon.
Yeah, 5.7.
Well, hold on.
It only moves up by half a mile.
Hold on. Where's that? Can you highlight it? It's too small for me to read.
I've got it highlighted. It's highlighted on screen.
No. The donkey dick horizon.
In the picture?
No, in the maths. You rattled it off like it was written down in this maths.
I'm screen sharing. Do you not see my screen?
Scroll down, Tony, to the diagram.
Oh, right. Do you mean there? Where is it in here? It would be a little tiny midgy stick behind it, wouldn't it?
It's not labelled, though. Is it?
Where is it?
No. Yeah, they don't have one, did they?
No.
Okay. Next problem. You're saying it's got a measurement up the top, but the measurement at the top, correct me if I'm wrong, is terrestrial refraction based. Am I wrong?
Yeah, 7/6R.
No. The refraction that they need to refract the horizon based on R to begin with, and that's derived from the horizon. So the refracted horizon value in this is paradoxical. Is that what you're telling me?
I'm just trying to show people where the argument is. I'm just getting rumpus to death. Just make my point, and then we can pull it apart.
Well, Adam was like, you've got to use the refracted value, and then it's like, no refraction. I'm like, well, no, we've got to establish the donkey dick horizon. And you're like, well, no, here it is, it's in the maths. I'm like, well, how is it in the maths? If it's acquired from a tangent horizon that's never visible if that's in the maths.
That's what they do, isn't it? They take the geometric horizon, and then what they do is, based on its distance, they apply 7/6R to give it a new refracted position.
Okay.
Like you say,
Stop before you go on.
How can they apply 7/6R to move R to measure R?
Well, that was what I was going to ask. So you said they take the geometric horizon. What do you mean they take the geometric horizon? They don't have one.
Well, Anthony has it listed underneath in the second column. Geometric results, no refraction. Geometric horizon, 5.34 miles. Whereas on top, it's with the refraction of their 7/6R, 5.77 miles. So it is there, but they've never seen it to measure it in the first place.
No, what they do, hello everyone, no, what they do is they take a mathematical belief they have and they insert that into reality. And that's what's actually happening.
Oh, I see, Brian. Oh, that's definitely in the diagram. Can you scroll down again, please? And there it is. Marked with an X, labelled horizon. That's their geometric belief that doesn't exist in reality. It's the diagram they show here. Why aren't they showing the refracted diagram of the... Oh, it's because they're trying to prove that marked with an X horizon's getting in the way at the hidden values. And then they'll fudge them with refraction that leaves them without a geometric horizon to begin with, invalidating the maths. Oh, I'm glad we've come back to it, as we didn't spot that the first time around. Oh, we didn't have the black swan then, did we? Oh, yeah, I forgot.
By the way, Nathan, I put the whole article in Masterbeat for whoever wanted to see the Discord, the link.
Thank you. We've
I'm sorry, Tony, I rumpused you.
I was going to say, I'm sorry. Me and Adam just... When Anthony went through this with me, I was like, yeah, if you want to do this, though, you're going to have to accept that I'm going to constantly interrupt you every single time you disclaim a begging the question fallacy that they're holding up and has been debunked. And he was like, yeah. And now he's like, you're both rumpusing me.
I just wanted our side to be aware of the counter argument so that they can all present it when needed.
Adam, can we hold our tongues while he continues with his presentation and not point out every begging the question fallacy?
I was doing.
Yeah, you weren't. I wasn't.
Neither of you were doing it very well.
Poorly, but I was. Actually, I never could do that.
As you're still talking.
Right, that applies to everyone else. Anthony, the mic's all yours. I'll hold everyone off, including myself.
This is like when Arwin says I'm on mute. Anyway, right, so...
What? No,
40 miles, 19 feet observer height. Best case scenario for them is the refracted hidden of 669 feet. Okay, this turbine is at just over 700 feet. If the globe was true, that turbine would be down on the horizon and it would be obscured by this landmass, but it's clearly hundreds of feet above, so it's nothing like what they claim. But they'll put a linear ruler to this and they'll say, well, it should be down here somewhere, and they just won't accept that it's compressed. They just outright deny it. Well, we've got the image from Flatzoid, which was it? I think it was Adam actually last night. Somebody sent me an image. Was it that one? Here, look at this. Now, it's going to take your eyes a little bit of time to adjust to this, but there's the little Stonehenge. There's the turbine in the background. This block here is I think it's the hub of the turbine, and you can see that it goes right the way down to here. It appears that we're looking at the turbine and the hub at the top. Now, my point is that this proves that look how long this is relative to how short the mast is. It appears to me that it's not only being stretched or squashed up to down, it seems to be stretched left to right as well. I don't quite know why. I don't have an explanation for it, but it seems to me that there's too many pixels in this bit and nowhere near enough in this bit, but that's proof of compression.
He said that they can apply, or I assume it's Ruhif that said this, they can apply a linear ruler of perspective to it. Can you show me? Can you go back to
he's adamant that they can do that.
I've got the supplementary. I'm just verifying that before I go on. So, yeah, they said that they can apply a linear degree of perspective to it. Can you go back to the Earth curve maths and show me where that is, please?
Yeah, it's the linear argument that Ruhif doesn't... He knows that this is wrong, but he just won't let go of it because it debunks his model. So we need to look into the arguments for why linear perspective cannot be allowed close to the horizon, notwithstanding this message here. Not accurate for observations over water very close to the horizon unless the temperature and vertical gradients are accurate.
Right, so, Anthony, you didn't answer my question. You told me that the Globus had told you that linear perspective with a ruler or something was okay or was being done, and that's how it was being done. Where is it in this calculator?
Well, yeah, it goes beyond this thing, doesn't it?
I don't understand your answer. Just highlight the bit of the calculator that allows for that which they have described in a linear term with rulers and perspective applications. Where is that? Can you just highlight it for me so we can talk about it?
It's the application of this bit, isn't it? When they apply the 669 feet refracted hidden,
that's not it. That's refracted. That's 7/6 of a radius value. Just take me to the linear perspective they're applying with the ruler in this maths.
It's got it here. It's to do with. It's a subset of how they apply this number.
No, it's not. That's a radius value based number. No, Anthony, I'm going to start getting frustrated. You're wrong. Just take me to the linear perspective that they say is okay. Just highlight that bit, not the radius value based 7/6 terrestrial refraction they use to bait and switch us with. Just the perspective they use as a straw man for flat Earth and say is usable. Where's that in this calculator?
I know that I'm wrong. I'm only telling you what they're doing.
I don't want to know what they're doing. I just want the perspective in the calculator highlighting. How long is this going to take? Can someone else take over?
It's not in Adam has the picture. You won't find it in the calculator. They don't take perspective into account.
What? Why has the calculator gone off screen? What, Brian? Why has it gone off screen? What's going on? I just want that perspective, and I'm hearing that it's not in there. Can you repeat yourself, please, Brian? I don't think I heard
Because Tent said Adam was going to do something.
I just want to hear Brian repeat himself. I'm sure I didn't hear you correctly. It sounded like you said it's not there.
No, there is no perspective within the global mathematics. There's no perspective taken into account. It's not
no, you're wrong. No, Brian. No. Didn't you hear what Anthony just told you? He's being told explicitly by people like Ruhif that linear perspective applied with some ruler and scales that don't match because the mountain at the top's further away, bottom's closer. Anyway, we've been told by Globers that that's how it should be done, right? So no, Brian. We've just been told by Anthony how that's being done and is okay and all good. So it is there. Anthony's just taken it off screen now. I don't understand why Anthony's playing silly buggers. I just want him to highlight it in the calculator.
That's not right.
No, that's not what happened. I told me. Yeah, Adam's got what you were asking for. Adam was trying to present, so Anthony took it off so Adam can present. That's what happened.
You want to present to me, Adam? Why is this getting lost in the weeds?
It was just to add to that point in terms of what was sent to me yesterday by Ruhif in terms of this. So it's quite funny, really. I don't know if he's winding me up or what, but that's what he sent me now with this message.
This is where the conversation is. I've told him that you can't use linear, and he's like, yeah, you're only saying that because you need to compress it. And I'm like, no, it's clearly compressed.
Here's a better image.
It's back onto it. I'm so sorry, Adam. I'm so sorry. I know you want to get onto what Ruhif sent you. Adam, he's just sent it. Why are you inserting it? Are you doing it to annoy me, Anthony? You've just said it again. So Ruhif's telling you You just want to use a sliding scale of perspective because you need to, and you're saying, no, it's compressed. Therefore, your linear perspective that Ruhif the Glober wants to apply. Show me that in the calculator, Anthony, please. Can you bring the calculator back up?
This point is to do with that, but it will follow. So just if we settle that it's not in there, and then
what do you mean it's not in there? I've got two people telling me the same thing now. Adam and Brian have both told me that it's not in there, Anthony. Ruhif's telling you he's a glober, right? Ruhif's transition to flat Earth, right? Am I just lost in the weeds of Ruhif's current status? Is he actually a flat earther now, Anthony?
No, he's an abject liar.
He's a glober, though.
No, he's an abject liar. I don't care whether he's a glober or not.
Does he fight for the globe position? Please play along. This act's getting
It's hard
tiring.
because I've already fucking answered you and you're not listening. He's applying it here. I know you don't like the answer, but that's where he's applying the perspective in the application of this 669.
It's not. It says refracted on it. It's not perspective. It's refracted, it says. Even if I didn't already detail how it's R-based 7/6 or their variants wherever they need to vary them, it doesn't even say perspective, linear or otherwise. It says refracted.
Yeah, but that's where he's applying it.
What?
I can't speak for him other than tell you what he's doing.
Okay, fine. Okay, maybe Brian or Adam can answer my question then.
He's not applying it. Is the point? He's using, as Tony's saying, this formula, and he's bait and switching as if he is. He's using this as if it represents what they asked us to do, which was angular size at distance. He's not, and it's the old routine of just angular size at distance to be misrepresented as geometry of a ball. It is still that basic what he's doing. It's
okay. Well, I've got to apologise to Anthony then. I'm sorry, Anthony. From what you were saying to me, it was my understanding that they now, as globers, were telling you all about the linear perspective that should be applied, and you're arguing that it should be a different type of perspective. But it isn't applied at all, and when I ask where it is, you're explaining that he took you to something that doesn't say perspective. He took you to something that says refraction, something very different. Okay, well, that's my bad. I was under the misapprehension that the calculator had perspective in it, and he's demanding that you accept a certain type. But that's actually not the case. It's just not in there at all. Okay.
Yeah, they're throwing those numbers out still, but they are then making that perspective ends with the rulers and stuff that they can apply this to prove it's a ball. It's demonstrating it's a ball because they've stuck a ruler on it. But the numbers they're getting aren't using angular size and reduction like I did in that first pictures yesterday. They're just taking, as Anthony says, the numbers are still being churned out from this, just geometry and refraction.
What they're doing, Nathan, is, you know, the 7/6 or switcheroo they do with actual real refraction. They're doing this. They always do the same thing with the curve mathematics, because they speak about perspective and argue about perspective and angular size change, but they will add in their own curve mathematics without you even realizing it. Before you know it, you're talking about a mathematical argument as opposed to a perspective argument. But they'll use perspective as a doorway to slide in their curve mathematics, but they won't use both of them at the same time, as that kills their argument.
No, I get it.
They only use one or the other.
Yeah, no, sure, I get it. What they're trying to do, or attempting to do with Anthony, is bait and switch him when he asks for what they argue about, and maybe they seem educated like that, like they did with actual refraction effects, to then bait and switch it with terrestrial refraction, because it's got the word refraction in it, which we catch every time. But now he's trying to use the same thing for perspective. It's like, it's got a different name. No, I know you like bait and switching terrestrial refraction for real refraction, but that doesn't mean you can bait and switch perspective with refraction. They're different things. They've got different names. So no, refraction, well, that's your version of the atmospheric effects you didn't factor in when you strawmanned us. So that's going to be your air and it being sphere shaped and it basically bending the light at a rate of r, and whatever you want to bend the light through the atmosphere at. That's not perspective, Ruhif. Perspective's not in this calculation. Do I need to trim out a few clips where they justify why it doesn't have perspective from the Isle of Man? Thank you, Anthony, for letting me know Ruhif's current position in regards to his claim of linear perspective, which isn't in his calculator, and his justified reason that perspective's refraction. Yo, Ruhif! Perspective isn't refraction. They're different things, they've got different names. How stupid are you? And you're already applying the atmospheric refraction based on R. Nothing to do with perspective, and I must be able to find a clip of one of you fuckwits telling us out, no, perspective. Geometry, yes. So what are you going to do? Say, no, perspective, here's our refraction in geometry, and that's also now perspective too, when we told you no, must be geometry. Yeah, we'll find a few more contradictions in those Isle of Man discussions. Oh yeah, hashtag thanks, cats.
Yeah, sorry, Adam, you go ahead.
Just to finish this point, because this we've said all that, but then I'm getting sent pictures like this, look, where we're sticking a ruler back on. I mean, look at this one, and it's quite clever because obviously his point is to demonstrate again this hidden curvature of the Earth, look, by putting the ruler on here at these two marks. What he's done cleverly, look, is delete up here, because what he can't do is allow the ruler to go, because that would mean his 1,000-foot mountain's only 600 foot now. So he's deleted it, you see. So we're just being fed nonsense waffle by people. I don't know whether they do understand it or don't, and it doesn't really matter because they're operating in a way which is deceptive to hide the reality of their claims, how absurd they are.
To be fair, I would stop it there as well, because the distance is another 10 miles to the mountain behind. So that scale wouldn't apply. So that would be
Lovely.
why.
So how can you apply it to the floor in front of you? Do you see what I mean? It's just farcical.
Oh, you can't, Adam. Just don't leave it as rhetorical. Let's answer these questions. It's back to what Rumpus wanted to talk about, isn't it? It's Cat's clown show trig.
Yeah.
Well, that's not us. Check out Life is Short. Ranty was there. Red Pill Philosophy was there. I was there, as we went through the very complex nature of perspective. Meanwhile, here comes the Globers with what they think perspective is. Yeah.
Yeah, they want you to do what Rumpus wanted you to do.
Hey, Adam.
Roofie, you asked how stupid is he? There isn't an apparatus that is constructed to measure the numptiness of this idiot. He's starring on the numpty clips today. Be careful around Roofie. He's scary numpty. He'll put a hex on you.
There's so much juice on this bone. Right, I said to my wife this morning, she's like, why are you editing this video? You said I didn't say it in these terms, but you'd stripped all the meat off the bone last night when you were still editing more and more and laughing your head off. I was like, yeah, but I asked Anthony to trim out his bit where he debunked Granty. So, there's so much more meat on this bone. I'm just going to keep eating.
I was going to do it, but I didn't get around to it.
So I woke up this morning, right? I turned the show on. I was in, like dreary-eyed freaking fog in the morning. All I hear is Cat's mongoloid trig. I was rolling. Say it again.
But that's what it is, right? They want to say that this is our trig, and that's immediately how Rumpus has got to now angle his way into this discussion. You don't know anything about trig. Well, I don't need to. I'm not making any trig claims. What are you talking about? And what are you actually talking about is Cat's Mongol trig.
No, you said mongoloid trig.
If you see where I've put, can you see where I've put the little magnifying glass? And just to address Tony's point, yeah, I'd stop it there. Well, this is all on this front thing. Where I've put the magnifying glass levels up with the base of the turbine, which, if you take that, means it's 260 odds, which it isn't. So,
bye, Adam.
Final point. All right, John, I've got to go. Sorry, guys.
But his point's valid, and yes, he got it in just. Thank you, Adam.
Yeah, I was going to ask Adam, the city of Blackpool, we're seeing the front of it from the perspective of the photographer.
Hey. Sorry, 10th. I don't mean to be rude, but can we call it a town? It's not actually a city.
Okay, a town. The town. All right. So on the other end of it, to the mountains, how far is that distance? And is there sea there?
Sometimes.
There's 50 miles from Blackpool town to the top of that mountain to the right.
Okay. And to the horizon, as we saw in that picture, where the water level would be level, shore to shore, from the backside of Blackpool town to the shoreline before the mountains. What's that distance?
I have no idea. I didn't look.
Distance
They can't see it anyway.
Distance to the apparent horizon, he's asking.
Well, the reason I'm asking...
Are you asking about the opposite side of Blackpool from there across? I'm not sure. I think it's about 20 or 30 miles or something. That was... I have a couple of photos. If you look in the photos that were put in yesterday, the day before, there's one of those photos there, one or two of them there, and they showed from that perspective people taking photographs from the beach there across the way. That was where Ranty was always taking photographs of.
So the beach below the mountains looking back at Blackpool town versus the way the photographer initially took it from the other side.
No, still looking in the same direction, but past Blackpool, where Blackpool is not in the way.
No,
So
I'm
from the
talking
beach.
about, I'm talking about if you were at the base of the shoreline below the mountains and hills on the opposite side, looking back at towards the photographer who was taking.
Oh, sorry. No, I don't know about those photographs. Sorry.
I just want to know how much
the distance will be the same. The distance will be the same from the other side of Blackpool across over from across to Blackpool. You are looking to go back all the way to Southport.
No. I'm saying forget the picture we see, which is where is it? Southport to Blackpool. Forget that one. That's one perspective. If you go to the mountains, where the mountains are, and look from that direction to Blackpool, from the opposite direction, from the shoreline, what's that distance to the opposite side of Blackpool?
That's what I've been trying to tell you. I don't know. I think it's about 20 or 30 miles in that part.
Just jump on Google Earth. You could get it.
I don't have Google Earth.
You don't have Google Earth?
Well, let's just
No, I just have an iPad. It's just the craziest thing to figure out sometimes. But anyway, my point is, Adam brought up a point to Anthony about the hills to the shoreline, and then I can't remember exactly what Anthony said, but Adam seemed to have wanted to correct him and saying, well, what about this area here? And that's got me thinking, well, what is that area there behind Blackpool to the shoreline?
Earth.
The point I was trying to make there was, even in that one image, Brian kind of made it yesterday. You think about the distance to the top of the hill and the distance to the base, distance to the shoreline, the different distances, yet you're still trying to put a ruler on it.
Yes. Well, they're still trying to do the trig on it too. Not only the ruler, the trig. They can't do it. Number one, they can't see the base. That's the big problem. Even if they could see it, you can't get an angular. You can't put that in your trig. It's not one value.
Yeah.
This is moron times 10, man.
Well, that's precisely what I used on Rumpus 10 times. And he just had to funding mute every time. Did you hear that?
I missed it, man. Sorry. I have to go back and listen to it.
Yeah, that's what it got down to. It was like, I thought you'd have heard it because it was after me saying he's stupid. I might not have been. I might have said it a few more times. But anyway, it was at the point where it's like, your trig that we'll be discussing, no, it isn't. It's Cat's trig. Okay, it's Cat's trig. What about Cat's trig? What's wrong with Cat's trig? He asks me. And I say, well, the top of the mountain's further away than the bottom. Albeit in lots of silly voices to make Cats look silly, because he is. But that required 10x Bundy muting.
What's the problem? You mean multiple problems, basic fundamental ones?
Yeah,
he did his favor to flat Earth. He had to make that distance straight and level, or else he couldn't do it to begin with. Number 2, he can't see it. Number 3, there's multiple distances. This is laughable.
This obviously didn't get cleared.
Yeah, it didn't clear anything. And they're the math whizzes.
Well, that's just the brilliance of it, isn't it, right? That's why I labelled, I think it's coming out today, actually. The video is called something like Katz's dumpster fire sets fire to the globe model. What's the words to that effect? Because that's what it boils down to, right? We've got plenty of examples where perspective's been detailed for hours and hours on end in intricate detail. Yeah, here's him with his trig. And now he needs that trig. You pointed that out. He needs it to acquire the angular sizes in the first instance to then throw it away later as our model. But in so doing, it's like, no, that's now become your trig. You know, because no one's going to ever have it ascribed to them on this side. And who have you got? Well, we asked Kosho and, well, him and Ranty. It's like, so where have they got it from? Well, from Katz. So it's this is Katz's crazy trig that doesn't make sense. That's who's going to be.
Adam's got his picture back up that I wanted him to put back up. So go ahead, Adam.
Yeah, John wouldn't have seen this, John. So relevant to now, but obviously relevant to the past. I photoshopped it to give you the ball side elevation profile that you should get on Google Earth, which really does show you where the height of the mountain would be, how much it drops in terms of relationship to the observer, for them to then go and do your spastic trig on that.
Hey, you could measure the pixels between the top point and the lower point on that curvy one, and you could see what the relationship is, the proportionality is, and see does it match.
It's the other way around. That's where he's got this from. He did that first, didn't he? Sorry, Adam, I'm speaking for you. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I've just proportioned it roughly based on the previous calculations from slide 1.
Can you put it in the war room or somewhere where I can see it?
Yeah, I'll do that in a second. So
appreciate
that. While he's doing that, this is when Adam said on the other picture that the guy Ruhif stopped the ruler instead of going all the way to the top of the mountain. This is what he was trying to hide.
Yeah, the fact that it's got a sliding scale and that the feet and inches values they ascribe don't scale with distance. You've got to use multiple rulers, and the ruler they use on things like the mountains would mean that they could slice the center of the mountain and assume that the bottom is the same version for the trig. You know, it's all nonsense. This is their clown show trig.
Well, I was going to go more with what Adam said after that. He said if they did it, if he had put the ruler up, that mountain would be at 600 feet would be missing or something to that effect, which is why he didn't do it.
Yeah, they can't highlight the things that devastate their own model because he's trying to argue against Anthony that it's not compressing. Oh, right, why have you rubbed out the top of that ruler? That reminds me. Sorry, go ahead, Brian. Then I've got a.
Because he couldn't find the curved ruler.
Go on, Brian, and then I want to tell QE something.
Yeah, Ranty has been trying to contact me on Skype and that, and he's trying to pigeonhole what we're allowed to debate about when I'm debating him on Friday.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not allowed to talk about water. That's one of the things he says.
What's your favorite color? Because that's all you can argue about with that numpty dipshit.
They need caveats.
I told you that all of the ballers are falling in line with that. Don't worry about the crops. Don't worry about anything other than what my argument is in a vacuum.
Why is that?
They don't have an argument.
It's because
they don't have an argument. They have no coherent. There's no coherent arguments in this entire photo. Nothing. Zero.
That's correct. But they've held up a fallacy, and they've now got the cohorts to try and defend them and say, "Look, you can only argue with me if you argue within the parameters of my fucking fallacy, okay?"
Let me guess. He doesn't want you going over to the left-hand side, right?
Right. So
that sounds like politicians in media.
Absolutely not. No, he does not want that. He doesn't want a lot of things.
All right, who cares what
Chess
Randy
was in the
wants
chat
to-
this morning. He should have just hopped in here while he was here. This is corny talking about this idiot.
I agree, but there's something I do want to tell QE if there's nothing else that's pressing. So, during the discussion recently, it was brought to my attention by Anthony that it's all good to use linear perspective, and how Anthony's arguing with a glober, Ruhif, about how no, it should be this type of perspective and that type of perspective. So I asked him to go to the curve calcs to show me it calculated in there, and then all of a sudden Anthony was showing me refraction values, and I was very confused and started to get a bit angry with him, because I'm like, no, just show me the perspective that Ruhif's telling us is okay to use. And Anthony was like, no, perspective. Here it is in refraction. I'm like, no, they've already bait and switched us once with terrestrial versus actual refraction. That's not perspective. And I'm suggesting that I go back and trim out a few of the times that they were like, no, we don't need perspective because it's geometric. For them to now have Ruhif tell us that refraction's perspective? I mean, he doesn't seem to understand basic English. They're different words.
So what you're this is not going to surprise me. So you're telling me Roofy thinks perspective is 7/6R?
Yeah, he thinks when he's got atmosphere, sphere-shaped air, light bending around it at a rate of the radius, whatever sliding scale he applies, that's perspective? That's correct.
What? That's what I'm talking about with Roofy. He's got that level of stupidity, of numptiness. You don't know what's coming next. That's how scary this dude is, man. He needs to be horse tranquilized right now and institution forever. He's a danger to himself and others. That's how stupid this guy is. Just listen on the numpty clips today.
I'm loving the numpty clip.
I think they're trying to accelerate the death of the globe. Maybe that's why all these characters are out here.
The scary part, the really scary part, he thinks he's an intellectual. That is the really scary part. Somebody call the police.
Yeah, he thought he was smart when he was here during the Isle of Man, drawing tangent lines to what he thought he was claiming and proving as Earth curve. Of course, every single one of those claims made by Ruhif with his straight lines to horizons are all invalid now.
Somebody should have told them, man. Like, guys, a few years from now, you're going to be telling them that there's no geometric horizon. Can't see it. ever.
That's the perfect song, Nathan. Every single time you bring this up, before you bring it up, numpty dipshits.
That's what they're doing. They're saying, look at this. It's the flat earthers trig. You're like, is it? Who claimed it? Oh, nobody. So it's yours then.
Reminds me when I went to the circus when I was a kid. That was the song they played just before the freak show.
Literally the circus song.
And it was actually a freak show. I was scary at my age to see the different things of oddities of people. Get me out of here.
Rocky,
nobody say a word.
He tells them we're going to join the circus.
Right, I don't want to hear a single word about man tits or Brenda being a nice fella. Right, save it all.
There was no such thing as that
Hilarious.
in the 60s and 70s. That's a new thing.
Tell you what is interesting on a different topic slightly. The way that Sean Hufford's been ostracised by the ball earthers is quite impressive. They've all kicked him into touch. Fight the Flat Earth kicked him.
Is that it?
Everyone's kicked him into touch.
Kicked who?
Sean Hufford.
You mean
why?
Kicked him into touch
because of his 10 grand fraud.
They've all just relinquished their associations with him. You mean?
Yeah, he's been ostracised.
Okay.
Yeah, but what about this circus?
So what, they put him in the corner with what's his face, Greater Sapien or something?
Yeah. What
So
about
they're,
this?
they're both in the corner.
I only said it because Tent said they played that music when they brought in the freak show, and obviously Nathan was on about man.
Oh, God damn it! What did I just say? I was just cringing here waiting for that association. Please don't make any more freak show associations. I beg of you. I had to do it once to say please don't do it.
I thought you was encouraging us.
No, don't associate. No, please. I'm going to say it again in all seriousness, right? I don't want Sean Hufford or Brenda or any of these people being associated as being the freak shows that they are. Just don't do it.
See, is this a double negative, Adam, or what?
But they are.
No, stop it, all of
and I
you.
wasn't gonna.
Right. Look, the clown music is enough. People can draw their own associations, but I don't want anybody calling them freaks. It's not fair.
Since when did you grow a heart?
Don't call the freaks a freak.
Look, I'll be honest, okay? If we carry on, I might have the video demonetized.
Oh, right now it becomes clear.
Yeah. So if you think he's being sarcastic, just err on the side of caution.
So Nathan, they didn't think you were serious. That's why, initially.
Yeah, we didn't. I didn't think you. I thought he was encouraging it, like Meekin said.
I don't know why you'd get that impression.
See, that's a guilty. That's it. That's an admission right there, an embedded confession right there.
There was absolutely no hint of sarcasm whatsoever.
Exactly.
Don't even know what sarcasm is.
Can I just say that as an actual freak, being compared to them is sort of insulting me. So
I feel that.
You can all apologize to him right now. Who was it that sent that clip yesterday? Who was the originator of the policeman clip? Was it Adam? Somebody posted a clip from, it might have been Brian then.
Oh, yeah, last night. Sorry, yeah, that, yeah. I'd like to apologise.
Yeah, exactly. That's what's put.
Do we have this?
Did anybody else see that?
No,
what was it?
There's a policeman and he's doing a press conference and he's saying words to the effect of, I'm really sorry I offended all the Albanians. You know, I spoke to my press advisor and basically it's like the blind leading the blind. And then you cut to a new press conference and he's got a blind man standing next to him. He's like, look, I'm really sorry I offended all the blind people. I spoke to my press advisor and what he said just fell on deaf ears. And then it cuts to another press conference. I'm sorry I offended all the deaf, etc., etc.
I missed it. Post it again.
I think it's very chic to talk about the freak.
Any Globers got a geometric horizon hidden somewhere in their bag or something?
Let's stop associating them with freaks. I've told you all too many times.
I was just asking for a geometric horizon.
That's straight after 10th Man talking about the freak show. You know what you're doing, Chocolate. Stop it.
I was talking about the band who had the song.
Yeah, Chocolate just took it as his opportunity to have a dig. Just typical.
Racist.
I did?
Yeah, racist.
All right.
Muttley.
See? Any of these balls got a geometric horizon. See?
Well, listen, when I was younger, people used to tell me I look like Rocky. And I used to get, yeah, I kind of, and they said, no, after the fight. So.
I just want to apologise to any Italians in the audience. I'm really sorry if we've caused any offence. And with that, I'm going to say a huge, massive, enormous thank you to both Discord and G Plus panels for making today's after show possible. And of course, a massive thank you to all of you in either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley Premiering streams for hopefully smashing the super chat. liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, and joining as a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member. Also, below this video, you can get £50 for swapping your UK electricity supplier to Octopus Energy. I've been Nathan Oakley, another massive thank you for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.
What a day! What a lovely day!